GRG Podcast, where you get all the latest gaming news, hot topics, and more. With guest Triple Cup Chuck, Livewires Gaming, 108 Dragons TV, Bloody Knuckles, Operations Op, 100, live, and your host, K Mega 405. The GRG Podcast
starts right now.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? The GRG Podcast is doing it live, ladies and gentlemen. Doing it live. We are back, full effect. Thank you guys for coming, checking us out, man. We are here, and without further ado, man, let me go ahead and give a couple of shout outs to some people that will not be here tonight. Livewire said that he has to take care of something. The king of the Dolphins, you know what I'm saying, aka the Dolphin King, he has to go do something with the missus. Take care of that. Got an anniversary. Congratulations on that. Making it another year, man. That's special. Then also on the other end, I do not know. I haven't heard anything yet from 108 Dragons, but he might come in a little bit late. But it's his birthday today, so give a big shout out to my boy 108 Dragons. Give him a big happy birthday. I think he's like 60. So give him a big 60th birthday. And like maybe 6 candles, because his old ass can't blow like 60 candles. But anyway, and then last but not least, 100. He is on his sabbatical, so yeah, he's probably upset because of the NBA season. He had good visions and thoughts of the Lakers going to do some magic, and it looking like because of the T virus that's going on, it looks like that might be a wash. But there's still plenty of time left. The playoffs wouldn't start until a month from now, so let's hopefully that can go and he can get out of his slump. Other than that, let's go on to the bums that's there, except for the new person that's here, our new rookie of the year. We just graduated Op, and look what's happening. But anyway, our new rookie of the year, everybody was hitting me up, and they was talking about how they liked PK on the show, and they was like, man, you know, he was very informative, things like that. I said, man, come on then. Come on and be a part of the GRG family. And he said, hey, I'll go ahead and I'll rock with y'all. So, man, give it up for my man back again, PK Live. What's going on with you, brother?
Hey, happy Friday 13th, family and friends. I'm glad to be here amongst all of y'all. Much love.
Much love, much love, and quick and simple. I like that. Just once the more you come on this show, I'm pretty sure it'll all die and go away and fade, and you'll have like a 20-minute intro. It's all good though. It's all good. But anyway, getting on to somebody else that was the former rookie of the year. So I guess now he has graduated to be our junior representative, aka the lawyer, aka we don't know what his nationality is.
Don't you play that. He sold his degree. Remember that scene, man. You almost threw me off the roof at that time.
Oh, man. Anyway, so people in the chat, as we're going through the show, I do want you guys to give your thoughts on what nationality you think our boy Operations Op is.
We're not doing this shit again.
Yeah, we'll do this again. It's just one of them things. It's a new hazing since he's a junior now. So go ahead and let me know what you guys think his nationality is, especially when we get to these topics and all of that. So anyway, what's going on with you, Op?
Not much, man. Just chilling over here. People going crazy over this T virus, but ain't letting it bother me. But other than that, just been gaming and just keeping it real, bro.
All right. I know. I got you. All right. And then last but not least, man, he was on a sabbatical. He was getting those Satan rings charged up, and also he was getting his new nail polish. Could you please tell us what the new I was gonna say flavor, but that's lipstick, so I can't do that. But the new color. What you got going on with this new?
I got that black and red going right
now.
now.
Okay, thank you, because I was getting confused right here. And did you get your toes done as well? Did you get a medi-pedi while you was getting your Satan rings done?
Listen here, sometimes you just gotta get your feet cleaned up right now. But right now, I don't want anyone touching me. You know that Corona out there is killing people.
We can't say.
And
there it go.
Actually, no, we should briefing before the show.
Listen here, Donald Trump ain't here, so I have to be his.
But you
McConnell.
gotta say T virus. Gotta say T virus.
Oh, the T-Virus, the PT, right.
Yeah.
You know, Umbrella out there getting wild and stuff like that, right?
Right. So it's getting wild. All right. So what's been going on with you, man? When you was gone and you was taking care of
Oh
stuff?
man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm feeling great. I was like, it's good to be back. I take a week off, take care of some things. But it's good to be back, man. I was like, you know, me just grinding, putting in that work, streaming a lot. Been making moves with working with the merch company that I'm with. I was like, but other than that, man, just gaming, doing a lot. Just got my first win in that new Call of Duty Warzone, man. It was
Nice.
good. Yeah.
Mm. We'll definitely talk about that a little bit later. I'll definitely talk about that. But anything else you want to add before we get started?
You know, there's a lot of hurt feelings in these gaming streets, right? Some people who don't want to see the truth. But so you know, there's just a lot of hypocrisy, a lot of upset feelings, just a lot.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a lot of emotions going on and running wild through social media. But anyway, let's get off and get to our first topic. It is actually kind of light. It was something that it just kind of popped up last week, or was it earlier this week? I can't remember which one it was.
Monday.
It was Monday. Okay, so it was early in the week. It kind of felt like it was last week to me. But let's get to it. Reggie from Nintendo. He has been on hiatus. He sat there and he went away. He said he was done. And lo and behold, Reggie pops out of nowhere and he tells everyone that he is going to be the new CEO of GameStop. Now, the last time I checked, the shares for GameStop was like at $3. So now I'm wondering if he's going to revitalize this franchise, this once beloved franchise by everybody. I think everybody on this panel and people that was listening has shopped at a GameStop, have bought stuff, and went ahead and did all the crazy things to where we was trading in 5 or 6 games to get that maybe 1 or 2 brand new games, and then when we get now backwards compatibility, we've paid the price. I know I've been there. So I'm gonna go to our he's basically too also he's new, he's our rookie of the year, but he's also a Nintendo enthusiast. He is very large on Nintendo. He loves Nintendo. I don't know if you love Nintendo more than you love any other platform, but I do know that Nintendo is up there. It's got to be up there because you talk about Nintendo quite a bit. So I'm gonna go to you, PK Live. What do you think about Reggie and this situation? Do you think that he is capable of making GameStop make a revitalization?
So I think it's interesting, right? Because Reggie did retire and walked away from this industry, but he still loves it. It's almost like he didn't want to leave. Um, and this guy is pretty good at marketing. That's one thing that GameStop lacks, is very good at putting themselves out there and actually selling a good product, rather than the bad stigma that they get for certain practices. I won't get into that, but I think more importantly, he would not have made this move if he didn't believe that he could turn that company around.
Oh,
And
and
all he said,
hold on, PK. Let me the people in the chat, they said, Mega, you was wrong. He's not CEO. He is the board of directors. So
right?
my bad.
Yeah,
Okay, all
he
right.
is board of directors.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I think if he wouldn't have stepped into the role if he didn't think he can help turn the company around, because um, he's seen it as an opportunity to, um, take something and change it. And the only way he can do it is ultimately change their practices. He would literally have to turn the whole company on his head to be able to get them to turn around and uh, adapt, right? Because we don't want another Blockbuster scenario where Blockbuster didn't adapt, and here it is, the digital age put them out of business. So if GameStop wants to stick around, they definitely will have to adapt. And I kind of look forward to Reggie's input and his and what he brings to the table. Just not sure if all the execs and shareholders would be okay with some of the changes, because I could see them being pretty dramatic in order to save that company.
Okay. I mean, is there any ideas that you would think? Let's say that you were the CEO or the part of the board of directors, and you had an idea about how to bring back GameStop to being where it's more viable than as it used to be. Any ideas that you have going forward?
Yeah, like I said, marketing would be the strong suit, right? You want to get out there, change the narrative of this company being having this bad stigma. So you got to change what people the perception, right? That's the first thing.
Hmm.
You got to change the perception. Make people think it's okay to go to GameStop. Feel good about going there, not feeling like they're going to get, you know, or feel like they're going to get robbed or cheated. And then also, I would change the practices, right? We all know that they strive on used games. Well, we also know that most games are getting bought digitally. So that market is going away. So the only thing left is streaming. Everything is streaming now. So I would definitely try to invest into that kind of technology where maybe they would do something similar to a Game Pass, but have all games involved in some sort of function from both PlayStation and Xbox and possibly Nintendo, since they do have a virtual console. Maybe they could do something similar to that, some sort of rental where people could just go and get games and push a button and have a game right there instantly waiting, and then to be able to, and it could be just paying through a GameStop app, and then you could just download the game
Oh,
on
kind
your
of like
console.
a red box. If they want to go in the store and try to get a game, they can try to get it digitally that way, or
Yeah,
maybe through the
yes,
online. That makes sense. That makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
yeah. So I would think that would be the better direction in order to adapt to the streaming market. Otherwise, this they're not going to be able to survive because of you know uh, basically digital media or physical media is just the sales are just dramatically dropped to almost nothing.
Yeah, no, I know. It's crazy because normally when you used to go into GameStop, trying to look for that one particular game, and especially seeing games on discount was almost rare. It was a rarity. You had to go maybe to two or three different GameStops, and then maybe somebody just accidentally put it up, one of those games that was up at the top that was on display. It was probably in that lower rack where it's just like kind of the games that nobody really didn't want, and then you may have caught one and seen a game in there. I've done that a couple of times, but
I would
yes,
I want to add one more thing.
uh huh,
GameStop used to do things like allow demos to be played, like you can play the game, try it out while you're in the store. Do things like that. They used to also hold. Now I know some of them still hold tournaments, but they used to try and reach out to the community, bring more tournaments in for gaming tournaments for people to come and play and enjoy. This get more bodies in the store to make them seem more friendly. I will also want to say that when hiring people to work for GameStop, they also need to not treat their employees
right, yes, I do agree. They are
the way they
they're
will care.
Yeah, man, they get some of those employees though. I've seen them because you definitely tell that they get worked off of commission or off of some kind of the experience. Because if people uh, they give you that little survey that they give with the ticket, and
Right.
then it just seems like that they get paid more. Matter of fact, there was the lady that I talked to the last time I was up there when I got I got these extra controllers that they had on sale. Um, she told me she just flat out told me she's like, yeah, if you go there, then that goes into our folder, or and then we get reference to get a better raises, things like that. So if you could please do that. And I was like, really, they go off of that? Yeah. And then it'd be surprised if how many people don't do the survey and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I used to not do the survey sometime, but again, um, the point that I was making was that you would look through the games, and it would be very rare to find some of those games that what you was trying to look for a sale, and because back then, it was so popular. Now, when I went in there just probably about less than a month ago, uh, you there's all types of hard copies in there. It doesn't matter what you're looking for, it's in there, it's right there, and there's a lot of games that's discounted. Now, of course, it's GameStop's discounts, but it's still discounted, and you would never see that. So I'm gonna go to you, Bloody, and get your thoughts about this, man. I mean, do you think Reggie has the, you know, what I'm saying, has the stuff to get GameStop back to where it needs to be, to where everybody wants to go back into their stores?
I definitely feel like he does have what it takes to really bring it back because of the fact that you look at what Reggie has done, right?
Hmm.
Reggie has over 30 odd years in customer service. He's had a history even before he was with Nintendo of turning other companies around. The fact is he's on the board of directors, so he's going to be working with others. But the fact is he's going to have a very strong input with being able to say, "Hey, look, this is what I feel we should do." Because if you look at the board of directors now, and the CEO, they obviously are well out of touch with what drives gaming now. You need someone who is in that industry, who understands the industry, who really can bring that passion for gaming back into it. I think this is going to be a much different kind of role instead of just being like the president and the face of Nintendo. Because the fact that you look at really the face of Nintendo, and you have Shigeru Miyamoto and Reggie. Those are the real big faces of Nintendo, especially for him being the president of Nintendo of America, right?
Hmm.
But now he's going to be working in a kind of an advisory role. But this one, he's gonna be working with basically the CEO or president, but with others as well. So he knows what it's like to drive that customer service. But the thing about it is that the biggest complications that they're going to have to run to is how are you going to make a company and a store whose biggest drive was used game sales in a world where physical sales, while still around, physical still does make sales, especially when you look at physical collector's editions and things like that. And GameStop still gets a large majority of those exclusive collector's editions, right? Physical is not the big driving or selling force anymore. It's now gone more towards digital sales. Yes, there are the fact that they sell digital codes for games, although not necessarily are those always actual game codes. They're typically just money for our digital money, like GameStop or like Microsoft gift cards that have the amount of money to pay for the game itself and things like that. But it's one of those aspects of how do you make that more prevalent for gaming and the culture that does exist nowadays. That's the biggest thing, is how are you going to make a store that has that really change? And I agree with where PK comes from, is that I definitely think that there will be a change in how one of the biggest changes that he needs to focus, that he really needs to bring out and really be a part of, is changing the culture of how they treat the employees, how they bring those employees on, and kind of what they require of these employees. Because kind of the biggest thing right now is the burnout, the stress, and how much that they drive. Yes, I get it that it's necessary for what's needed for sales, but the aspect is, when you do that kind of focus, you end up really hurting your people. And that kind of shows just how much they've been hurt by all this because of everything that's going on, right? So right now the biggest focus is, one, fix the work culture, fix the policies. But two, how do you turn that company around to make it relevant with the times? That's the biggest aspect, is how do you make it relevant to the times when physical sales and returning of those physical sales aren't really the case anymore, because people aren't buying as much physical. Now it's gone more towards digital. That's where the biggest draw and where the biggest challenge is going to lie. That's just my take.
Yeah, no, I mean all those make sense. I want to go ahead and read something that Crispy Bomb said. Let me go back and find it.
Crispy.
Yeah, big shout out to Crispy from the next podcast. Appreciate it. Before I do that, let me give a big shout out to Sir X Man supporting the chat. He said, "I think GameStop needs to have more of a modern look. I could see that. I mean, I don't know. When I went in there, it looked fine. Again, I don't mind having the same type of look to make you familiar, especially if you haven't been into the store in a very long time, to still get that comfortable feel of going into the store and you remember how it was. I have no problem with that. Um, what Crispy said, he says, number one, close half of the stores, invest in online sales. Number two, make all remaining stores land competition hubs. Number three, have all GameStops carry advanced collector's editions you can only get in the stores. Now, those all sound great in theory. But again, when you have, let's say, all of the collections, all the collections within the store, and they're $200-300, not everybody's going to get that. So I do think that they should have props up, like, because we have a local store. I've talked about it a couple of times. We have a local store out here, just probably maybe about 2.5 miles away from me, and it's got displays of all different types of things that you can buy within there. They have a Magic the Gathering group. They have old time old school. You could play like Nintendo 64 arcade games. You could play PlayStation 1, Dreamcast, uh, plus all the old retro gaming consoles that were popular. They don't have GameCube or a 3DO or anything, but they have those older games that you can sit back and play. Plus, they have like these gaming nights to where people can go and sit on this couch and gather around and go through these events. It's a really cool place, and plus they serve food and all this stuff. It's really cool how that place started off of just being like comic books and like Magic the Gathering and just having some collectibles, to now how far it's grown. And they've gotten so big that they've moved into another part of the shopping center. But I mean, GameStop should have those, but I think it would be better if GameStop offered those through their online network. I think that would probably be the best thing. Like, have a big catalog book that keeps people engaged, staying inside of the store, looking through your material so they can try to buy something or look for something to order. But I definitely agree that they should have LAN parties and competition events, because those is what's going to keep the people keep coming around. But let me go to you, Op. You've heard what PK had to say. You've heard what Bloody had to say. What is your take on this? Do you think Reggie has what it takes to get GameStop back on its feet?
Yeah, PK and Bloody made a lot of good points. So I don't want to try to repeat them too much, but like I've also kind of found it funny how like Reggie Fils-Aimé, who previously worked at companies were notorious for being very stingy with their prices for games and hardware, is going to try to help get another company who's also been known for that get them out of the hole. Like I thought I was pretty ironic at that point, but as far as like how he can actually, I guess, change or help GameStop going forward, I feel it'll be very important for them to just like keep doing what they're doing, downscaling their physical operations with their stores, and if they can, try to convert some of them or even majority of them into like a gaming arcade hub / online cafe. It's just similar like Dave and Buster's at this point. Like, but the catch was that apart from the other ones is instead of playing like regular arcade games that we all seen for over decades and some of the new ones as well, they can actually start poaching and like advertising the latest games on modern consoles that people can play as well. Like, just imagine they have like a little arcade hub, same like a Dave and Buster's, but you can get to play the latest Doom Eternal for a certain fee for a certain amount of time at that point. And not just that, you have a hub for like NBA 2K, Madden, different games, and et cetera, so going on from there. If they can somehow try to hone in that market for like an arcade hub, I think they'd be very successful for them, because at that point you really set yourself apart from the other ones as well. It's not same like Dave and Buster's, or like I can't think of other ones at this point, but like it'll be a unique change they can do, so that way they can stand apart from their competition at this point and be really competitive going forward. Because like, of course, people like going to Dave and Buster's for arcade games, the food, and all that stuff, but like if you get people to play, if you let people to play the new modern games on consoles, and while having a good time with your friends, like a social environment, I think it can be a really profitable niche market they can capitalize on if it's done right. But also, Chrissy on Bomb in a chat also made a good point about competition as well. If they can somehow, I guess, get a partnership with, I guess, esports and esports leagues out there, and somehow have like weekly tournament events, That way, the bigger leagues can scout for new players or people that participate in competitions.
Mhm.
I feel like it'd be a very pivotal avenue for revenue from it as well. It also keep them relevant and keep them, I guess, amongst give them get mind share amongst gamers as well, because they'll be regularly active. People be regularly going to stores, not only for the game arcade, but just when there's competitions, the local competitions going on in their neighborhoods for like upcoming esports players at that point. So I feel like if Reggie wants to go that route, I feel like it'd be very successful for them if it's done right.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. What's going on with you, Xbot448? I see you in the chat. Go ahead and say what's up to everybody, man. That's what's up. Keeping the chat live. I see my boy Rain84, of course, Sleepy Goblin doing the damn thing. Jazzy Noob, the fam. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then G-Man, 1172. Haven't seen you in a while, man. And of course, ABA CAB72. I call you ABA Cab. Other people call you Apple Cab. I don't know. I'm just gonna call you that. All right. How about that? I'm just gonna say Cab 72. I got you. Let me be country. And then everybody else that came in here and checking out the show. So all right. So anybody else want to touch on this? I mean, I look at it. Reggie, I mean, look, they need to do whatever they possibly can. I mean, and it's at the end of the day, Reggie's name is not going to get tarnished or anything if GameStop goes away with the dinosaur. I don't know. I just think that the era of mortar stores is almost about to be done. I think that there's still use for some. But for GameStop, for what they've done, for how their practices was, and gamers are a lot more savvy than what they used to be. You know, me for one, being silly, getting rid of all of my older games for just one or two titles that would depreciate and like right after you walk out the door. So you know what I'm saying? Hell, in order for you, if you remember, before you even had to walk out the door, I mean, when you walked out the door, you couldn't take that game back unless you wanted to do a complete refund off of it, and then they would still give you hell about it. And if you wanted to try to trade it in, like, when I just bought this game, well, it's in the wrapper. Like I'm like, oh, okay. So it was just a lot of practices that GameStop did that got themselves to be successful as they were, but now kind of put them in a predicament that they are as well, because they haven't ever adjusted, and they thought that gaming wasn't going to change.
They didn't have to adjust. They didn't have to change with the times.
No, they didn't, and that was to me the problem. That that's on whoever was at the board of directors and the CEO as well. Like, you don't see that digital sales is going up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You don't see that. I mean, I understand at the beginning of the generation it didn't look like it was going to happen, but once you started, you didn't have the people that were there to tell you, hey, look, digital sales is going up. We better start figuring new ways and methods to try to revitalize these stores. And it just looked like that it was a tidal wave that came and they weren't ready for it. But I don't know. Anybody else want to touch on this? All right, cool. Let's get on to the next topic. And I know this is all my boy Operations Op right here. So I'm going to start off with you once I say this topic. And this is talking about no other than Final Fantasy VII Remake. So,
oh
Lord. So anyway, we gained further details that the developers at Square Enix are not entirely sure on how many segments of Final Fantasy VII Remake will be broken up into. So, I'm starting off right off the gate with you. What's this say to you? What does this mean? Were you going to get Final Fantasy VII Remake? And like, just give it all to us, man, because I know this is one that you really want to touch on.
Man, this is crazy. Like, I remember a bot mentioning in DM that I think that producer said they might get 3 or 4 parts of it, but they're not sure at that point. I could be quoting him wrong. I'm not entirely sure what bot said, so I apologize if it's wrong. But this whole situation is some bullshit, man. Like, I don't know how vulgar I can be about this, but like, it's just like, the community is full of shit. Like, it's for over a decade, people have been campaigning, crusading and building narratives that these specific publishers and developers, i.e. Activision, EA, Microsoft every now and then, and maybe some others I can't really think of, Ubisoft as well, and now Bethesda, that they create these narratives around them saying that these developers, publishers, if we allow them to, they will sell us a game for $60 or give us less content at that point. And here comes Square Enix, a Japanese developer. They are Japanese, correct?
Yeah.
All right, just making sure. A Japanese publisher developer and publisher. Come on with them. They're literally
Well, the developers are Japanese. Square Enix is, I believe that they're Japanese as well.
Bloody.
So,
Can you confirm that?
I'm gonna look at that
Square
up.
Enix is a Japanese developer that actually they combined with Enix. So
Yeah,
Well,
like
SquareSoft was the Japanese side. Enix was a European company, but
right. That's where I got
What?
yeah.
Look at them, though. All right.
And then they picked up Eidos. So
Eidos Montreal, yeah.
yeah. So
This
that's
is
why
EDOs.
I said Eidos, however you want to say it, whatever. But you know the makers of Tomb Raider, so they like Square Enix has grown, so that's why I was kind of like, I know that they started off as SquareSoft, but I did, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's why I was checking out. So yeah,
Yeah, they were SquareSoft when they made Final Fantasy 7 all the way to 10, and even when they were still even SquareSoft almost 15, 18 years ago when they made the first Kingdom Hearts game. And I think they were still SquareSoft even when they did the second one, which was like in 2004, 2005. And I think after that, that's when they purchased Enix and became Square Enix.
Alrighty, close enough. But going on, partially Japanese going
Right.
forward.
yeah.
So
We'll say,
here's
yeah,
the
they're universal.
right. This,
But the
At this
developers
point, they
are
are.
yeah, they're
here-
universal now, but the majority, but the developers for Final Fantasy are Japanese. So yeah.
gotcha. Okay, so developers for this game, Japanese, and here they come. They're literally taking a 23-year-old game, around it, 22, 23-year-old game,
Yeah,
some change,
about 23-year-old.
and they're literally segmented it into parts and selling to you at was it $60, I believe, is confirmed final price for part one.
Mhm.
Of who knows how many at this point to be determined, and nobody's is bothered by this at all. Like literally, people coming out in mass parties. Like I don't give a flying fuck if it's like don't even get the mid card part to give us new content topic. Like what? So you're telling me that this old game that's been segmented is okay to sell you at $60 if you're getting DLC content added into it at this point? Because I remember just some of the details loosely. They're adding a new enemy that you can encounter as well, and I guess different areas you can visit as well, and some other content you're gonna be adding alongside of part one at this point. So all this sounds like to me the same amount of stuff you would get in a DLC expansion. Like perfect example, Division 2. So was it Warlords of New York?
Mhm.
We'll go back to New York. I think it's a different part of New York at this point.
Mhm.
And new enemies to encounter. And a slightly new faction, I think, if I remember details correctly.
They got
All this sounds completely the same to me at this point.
well, yeah.
So-
They added they added more. There's more. There's a graphical upgrade as well. The
Mhm.
game runs better.
Right.
There's a lot of perks for the game, but
Of course.
it's $30 though. So,
Right. So the same package as a DLC at this point.
right, but it's DLC.
So again,
That's it.
DLC
Yeah.
and a fraction of the base game for $60 at this point, and this is okay. Like, when do we stop capping for these companies? Like this, it's mind-boggling at this point. People just defend this en masse, and they say we're the wrong at this point because they're saying if you don't like it, don't buy it. Motherfucker, if we people go out and buy it, this could potentially lead other developers to do the same thing going forward. Like, you want to be paranoid, you want to bring out tinfoil hat about some stuff that can affect the industry. This right here could potentially affect the industry, not microtransactions, not these other practices that other developers do, whether it's good or bad at this point. This right here, if they get away with this mess, this could lead to other developers falling into, hey, like, if they got away with it, when you're part of a game and still selling at the same price, maybe we can do the same thing too with another remake at this point. Like, I'm not hearing this narrative either by this be a remake, so it's gonna be completely different. It's not. They're taking the foundations for Final Fantasy VII, they're adding more to it. Same thing with RE2 remake. Took the foundation of the RE2, they changed the story for the most part. They retconned a couple of things as well, and they added more to it as well. It is still RE2, just remixed at that point. So some extra stuff added to it as well. It's still take the base game, it's still foundation of RE2. It's took a modern take on it as well. So yes, there are some differences, but there's also similarities as well. So you can miss me the whole narrative at that point. It's a completely new game. It is not at this point. And this, like, it's inexcusable at this point. Like, if they really had, because people are literally paying for their fuck ups in the development side. Because what, they had to start over like once or twice during development?
Oh, it went through development hell quite a few times. There was even
Well-
rumors that the game wasn't even going to
So nobody
might
had to
not
cut
come.
everything out they did work on previously and start over
Right.
again.
Well, it
Remember
was outsourced to CyberConnect 2, and then they
Mhm.
took it in-house, and when they did, then it looks 1,000 times better now. So
Yeah,
if you-
but remember too is that when they announced it for CyberConnect 2, with them originally working on it, they were already developing it for about a year and a half to 2 years before they put out that announcement trailer, which was back in what 2014, 2015, and then they were working on it for another year or so before they said no, we're canceling it, we're getting rid of them and we're gonna do it ourselves. And then they spent 3 years having to rebuild the engine because they didn't. They're just like, no, we're just gonna do it all over again.
So it's been passed around like a cheap
Well,
prostitute at this point and been a
And
massive money dump for them.
well, that's true,
yeah,
but they
yeah,
also put a lot of it on pause to get KI3 out first. They wanted to make sure they can market that first and that success before they went back to 7. Before they even could actually, um, and I think one of the directors that worked on the original 7 said that KI3 has to be a win in order for them to fund that project for 7.
KI or Kingdom Hearts or KH?
Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom
I'm
Hearts.
I'll
sorry,
take
Kingdom
killing
yeah.
this the whole time.
But you also got to remember the issue with that was also a whole other thing is that the other biggest issue, and this is where I'll come in and step in. The reason that they needed KH3 to be a success is also because that game was also in and out of not necessarily development hell, but trying to figure out while they were working on all the other side stories that tied it all together with all the spin-offs that were all technically still a part of the main canon and everything, is that the main director has a bad history of prolonging a project that sometimes it never gets off the ground. That's what happened to Final Fantasy 15, which, for those who don't know, was originally called Final Fantasy 13 Versus, which was in that same canon universe called the Crystal or the Cristale Lumines universe, where it's
Just
all
say
the children of the crystal.
The Illuminati. Just say that.
No,
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
doing that.
Okay. All right.
'Cause I'm not gonna do that. All right, no. But
All right.
the thing about it is that game alone took 10 years before they finally got it out, and in that time, that's when they did the 2 spin-off games uh of Final Fantasy 13, when they did 13-2 and then 13 Lightning Returns and then everything like that. And then of course they also were working on Final Fantasy 14, which was their big successful MMO and everything. 15 was in development hell for over 10 years before that finally came out back in what 2017 or so. That was going on since 2005 or so, like right after they did Kingdom Heart or they did Final Fantasy 13 that was in development. The director that was working on 7 Remake has a known history of always taking forever. The one who always had to come in and get brought in to finish projects was Hajime Tabata, who was the one who actually finished Final Fantasy 15 and got that out and was the one who everyone really loved, but he was also the one who left when everything was done, especially when he planned to do more DLC for 15 and Square Enix said nah. And he's just like, well, if I'm not doing that, then I'm going to, it's time for me to go. That was one of his biggest things. I was like, so the 7 Remake is such a mess. And you brought up something very interesting, is that you're talking about how it's
before you go on.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll finish up.
Yeah, just one last thing.
Because Bloody just he said I'm gonna take over right here. I'm like,
no, I appreciate it because he adds some more context that was needed.
I was just, but yeah, he was cold blooded. He just said,
so
hey,
basically, what Bloody said,
hey.
like the people in charge, they're borderline incompetent at this point because the pattern in Blade just stated shows this is almost routine at this point that they can't get their shit together behind the scenes, and people have to pay for it at this point, i.e., Final Fantasy X Remake. Because now, because of the issues they've gone through development, they now got a point where they're comfortable where it is, but they have segmented it into several parts because the entire game is not even finished at this point. So now we have to pay for their screw ups, and I can't get behind that at all. They're like, this is ridiculous. Like I can't support that. So I'll wait until the game is finished and it's cheap at that point. This is some bullshit. You're not gonna ride me along for a couple 4 plus years for this entire thing to come out. If it takes that long, because I don't know, it probably shouldn't take that long because the game's the engine is finished. So all I need to do is build out from there at that point. But I'll wait until it's done. I can happily wait. I have no rush to play this game at all because this game has already came out. The story is going to be relatively the same. I don't expect to do too many retcons or change it up too much for the most part. So I can wait. I'll be fine.
Right, because that's another point, and then Bloody, you can go ahead and take over. But that's another point too that I'm curious about as well, because they saying that they're adding all of this extra content, and like I said, they're staying right here in Midjar. So, and this game is going to be anywhere from 60 to they said 40 to 60 hours worth of gameplay, which is excellent. But again, and then I'm also seeing that they're already using uh the Leviathan. And like I'm like, what? They're already using the materia? Like so I'm trying to figure out like which is fine, I guess, but when does it get to the point to where the people that love the old game and they start losing that nostalgia because they're adding this new element to it? When will those gamers start getting upset about that? Bloody, you want to touch on that?
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing. That it's like we talked about this, especially in our own chat, right? And as G brought up, if you go back and play that game, it was 4 discs because of the fact that those were barely CDs, barely even pushing DVDs. I was like, that whole game with everything that's in it could easily fit on a Blu-ray, maybe 2 Blu-rays at most. There's very few games that have ever required 2 Blu-rays. So why is this being split up so greatly? Because if you look at where they said that it's going to end, they said that the first part's going to end at Midgar, and we talked about that. If you remember the original game, Midgar was not that far into the actual story because it's only when you reach Midgar do you really open up the open world aspect of that game and get to the flying ship when you meet Sid to really do all the big traveling that you have to do. I was like, so if it's only going that far, then what is it that they're putting in to pad out the system to really justify it as a remake? Because the reason there's so much hype about this, and I've called this out quite a lot, is that Final Fantasy is overly hailed as it was the first Final Fantasy to be 3D. So people really put it on a higher pedestal, and it's a bit unnecessary on how much extra hype it gets. Honestly, at times I've always said it's overrated, and I've played.
Whoa.
No.
Let him finish.
Whoa. Hold on. Let me get to the super chat.
Okay.
And then let you think about the words that you just said, bloody. Hold on. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Hynosis. He said, because I'm not saying your first name.
Hynosis. No.
I said his last name. I said Hynosis. All right. So Final Fantasy 7 Final Fantasy 7 remake demo changed my mind. I'm gonna double dip. I am with you. I with you, but I'm reluctant on how soon because I know I'm gonna get it on the PlayStation because I'm gonna crave to want to play it. But the thing with me is, damn, how much more content are they going to add on top of that $60 that I'm spending? That's my problem. And then if I don't double dip, I can wait until next year, and then there's going to be a complete edition. That's the only thing with me that I'm thinking about. But go ahead, buddy.
But the thing about it, right, is there actually going to be a complete edition? Because we don't know if that in a year that they're going to have the whole game out. Because we don't know how much, as Ott brought up and as we've seen in reports, they don't know how many parts they're going to do, or if they're even going to be able to get to those other parts. That's the issue, and he's right that this brings up a really bad trend that certain people are giving them way too much leniency with, just because of the fact that it's Final Fantasy VII. And this is where I say the hypocrisy comes out with how much people overly give this one game too much credit and why it's an issue, because people got mad when Hitman went when Eidos did the episodic version of the Hitman reboot, right? And some people complained about that, though it worked, because when they put out that first episode, because they were trying to do something new with it, it was fun, but a lot of people didn't like it. But guess what? They learned each time they did out a new episode. They added lots of content. They introduced that continued player-made contracts mode that they introduced in Absolution. And by the end of the entire first season of the Hitman reboot, a lot of people loved the living hell out of it, right? That was the issue.
Wait, couldn't you pay one to get all of them going forward?
Yeah, but look at what they did with Hitman 2. That was the full complete game, all the episodes, all the stories, all that. That was the thing, right? So the biggest thing about it, though, is the fact that this one really gets way too much leniency just because of the fact that it's Final Fantasy VII, and there's a lot of extra hype when it isn't necessarily always deserving of that, just because of the fact that it was the first 3D one. And here's the biggest issue is that
I don't know about that.
hang on.
But
In
no,
my
no, no.
opinion, my opinion.
I just want to say this. I do think. People. People could decide if they think that you're right or wrong on that. That's fine. No, I just wanted to say, I look at Final Fantasy VII being like the Run DMC of JRPGs, which is the crossover that actually was the first JRPG to truly cross over and gravitate to so many gamers out there, other than just one particular group of gamer that just liked JRPGs. That's why I look. That's how I look at it.
I don't think so, because there was a lot of. I was like, honestly, if anything, that's Chrono Trigger.
Trigger
did that. Chrono Trigger and
Chrono
SNES
Trigger
did that first.
never did the numbers is what Final Fantasy did.
But I'm saying Chrono Trigger is still one of the most hailed, and people have been waiting for them to ever make a sequel to it.
By
But-
enthusiasts that
There was
play.
a sequel. It's called Chrono Cross.
Chrono Cross,
Cross
exactly.
and Chrono Trigger are, yes, I understand. I got Chrono Trigger.
But what I'm
I
saying
got
is
it,
that
but-
Chrono Trigger is the one that really kind of set up that off, as well as some of the earlier Final Fantasies. I was just saying that
Right, but-
7 is the one that got everyone, because it was the first one in 3D and pushed on the PlayStation when gaming really started hitting its stride. That's where it was, is that during the PlayStation 1 era, that's when gaming really started getting a lot more notoriety.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say that Final Fantasy VII is overly hailed, because of that one simple fact. I was like, but that is my opinion on it. Now, what I was gonna say was the fact is that Op also brought up another good point when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Remake, is that what are they putting into it to fully justify it as a remake? Yes, they're completely rebuilding it in the new engine that they obviously used, that they took from 15, right? We see a lot of the action RPG elements that were in 15, but they also having to mix that in with a lot of aspects from the original, of having that aspect to still be turn-based, or using that ATB system of you have to melee to build up to do your limit breaks and certain things like that, right? They took a lot of those systems and mixed it together, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I was like, and it's going to be interesting how it all plays out, because when you look at Resident Evil 2 Remake, look at Resident Evil 3 Remake, those are the full games, just completely remade, the story being retold, but also revamped and a little bit of retconning, right? But the fact is that they still have everything that you would have expected out of a full remake. I was like, it's still the full game. It's still all the side stories and all the content, but it is all the way complete. Final Fantasy VII Remake is not the full complete Final Fantasy VII game. I was like, and the fact that they're not even going to come out and say, you know, this like part 1 of it or anything like that. They're just like openly stating it on the side, but not making it a part of the fact that it's the actual game is not the full complete Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's another thing that they also need to address. I don't know how they're going to handle the situation, or I mean, they're going to handle it just fine. I was like, Square Enix has that thing, and especially when it comes to Final Fantasy VII. People could say what they want, but Final Fantasy VII is still probably the most notable, most recognized, and most iconic JRPG franchises out there.
Mm-hmm.
And Final Fantasy VII, love it or hate it, is also the most notorious and well-known one. So this game is going to absolutely do well.
Oh, it's going to kill the
enough.
game. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, if it does so well, are people going to continue to let this happen, or is it only because it's this one game? And if people let this get away with it and let other games get away with it, that's going to have big implications and changes on the industry as a whole. And that's where the issue lies.
And then after 10 plus years of bitching, we'll finally be in crisis mode, like we've been predicting for the
Exactly.
past decade.
That's a good point. Okay, so PK, Mr. Kima was I posted it in there, but I don't know if Mr. Kima's seen it. And again, let me give a big shout out to my boy Six Slayer. Six Slayer, excuse me. Let me get myself together or whatever. Six Slayer, man, he's been He's been with the podcast for a very long time, just like with other Zinc. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for hanging out and supporting like Rain G4. I really appreciate everybody that comes in here and checks out the podcast, man. I may not get to your name or get a shout out because I'm over here doing other things and other tabs and other stuff, and then I look and then I get to find out if there's like somebody sending something out or whatever. But the fact of it is, I do not forget anybody. I appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much. But PK, what is it that you do? Do you agree with Bloody? Do you agree with Op on this, or do you have a different take on this whole situation going on with Final Fantasy?
So I humbly disagree with both of my colleagues here.
Okay.
Um, and and I'm not disagreeing with how they feel, but disagreeing with the idea of there is a trend. I mean, I spend my whole job looking at patterns, right? Until there is a pattern, there's nothing to say that there will be one. So,
True,
um,
true.
so we can't speculate on what hasn't happened. But what we can do is talk about it. So let's talk about it. So, as far as Final Fantasy VII, this is going to be a 100 gig install. Okay, 100 gigs. That's a big game. The director and everyone wants this game to be good. If we look back at games such as Chrono Trigger, which happens to be one of my favorites of all time, those games, as old as they are, if you was to reimagine them today, they would be a lot bigger. And they probably would take more than one part to be able to reimagine them the way you would appreciate it. And to correct you, Bloody, the first, it was 3 discs for the original Final Fantasy VII, and the first disc ended when, spoilers, Aerith got killed by Sephiroth.
Right.
And they didn't meet Sid until disc 2. But so the way I speculate is, this game would probably be maybe 3 to 4 parts because the last disc was just the final dungeon. So the probably, you know, uh, make make this world as big as they want it to be, so the next generation can enjoy what we enjoyed with our imagination. Because remember, we didn't have voiceovers. We didn't have, and the cutscenes were not that great, right? We're really just using our imagination. I remember back playing Ninja Gaiden 2, I was voicing the characters.
Ah.
Okay, so it's a different environment. So we have to, in order for everyone to be able to enjoy with this new technology. Yes, the games are going to be bigger. Yes, stretching it out may be a good thing in the long run because we'll be able to consume the entire game as big as it can be. Because if they remake Chrono Trigger, it will face the same thing. Because think about it, Chrono Trigger had 13 endings and you went and changed the past and future multiple times, that game will be huge if they redid it, especially if Kira Toriyama did the artwork since he created all the characters. The same thing will apply here. I think Final Fantasy, with their mind, and this is, and as much as I criticize Japanese and how their culture is when it comes to giving us what they want us to have instead of what we want, I also defend them in this case when they're not as notorious with trying to go for a cash grab as much as the Western creators are. I think
That's very
I
true. Yeah.
I think their hearts are mainly concerned about making sure that this experience is full rather than partial and rush it for one disc, right? I think they really want it to be memorable, and that's why it's a saga rather than one disc, right? And I own this game on Xbox, PC, and including Chrono Trigger. I bought this game multiple
Yeah,
times,
me
and I
too.
see myself buying this game again multiple times. And this game is not just the first game that went into 3D. This game started a culture. Think about it. It's the only Final Fantasy that had a real movie. They went and spent money to create a sequel that was a movie. They
Oh
made
yeah,
many
yeah.
spin-offs
Yeah.
just for this game. Not because it was the first game in 3D, but because the characters individually were self-loved. The characters were unique and had their own story that brought something different to the table. That's why this game is so popular. Think about it, because 8 came right after that, but it was nowhere near
No.
reached the popularity
Eight
of 7.
wasn't. 8 is probably the most overlooked Final Fantasy until you get to the Lightning
And you
Saga.
can and you can say
I
9
prefer I prefer 8 over everything.
10,
okay,
10
and
is
that's
my
fine.
10 is my overall favorite
I do love
Final
10
Fantasy
because
of all time.
10 has a much better love story. I was like, because that
Well,
one
no,
actually
just the whole situation between. Well, I'm not
Tidus
gonna
and Yuna.
spell
Yeah,
well between Sin and Titus. That
yeah.
was once you played and got the end of that, like what?
Well, yeah.
Oh, that
But
was
again,
crazy.
the
10,
the
10,
story.
10 by far is the best Final Fantasy of all time, in my opinion. I know people say 6.
Oh, six, absolutely, because it has also one of the most perfect villains of all
Well,
time.
see, I've never played 6 because the
Well,
6
6 is
was on
3
the
in America, but
yeah.
let's just say
But Final Fantasy
what
7 is number 1 in America, is it not?
yes.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
it
So
is.
yeah,
Well, overall, right? Overall, it
yeah,
sold more units than any Final Fantasy.
yeah. So
So, what I'm getting at is it's more than just the first of its kind. It also started something that has never been seen before. Like, think about it. I understand you like 10. I'm not a fan of 10. I did not like the ending, but that's just my personal
oh
opinion.
man, you
But,
already messing up.
but,
Okay, no, I'm
but
gonna
I'm just saying.
yeah.
But the way the culture moved after 7 dropped is what changed everything. And we had Fantasy Star, we had Chrono Trigger, we
Right.
had all these JRPGs brought, even Final Fantasy 3, which was 6, brought to America. But when 7 hit, that's when everybody started looking different at how RPGs are being played today. It's like how Dragon Ball came to the US, and then all of a sudden the anime craze blew up into some told thing, right?
Right. Right.
Because before 97, anime was not as popular. And then when 98 hit and it came to America, then things changed. That's what I was saying is Final Fantasy 7 changed the way we look at JRPGs. And most of us are fans, are old fans, but they're trying to make a game that will attract both new and old fans. Because a lot of people didn't like Final Fantasy 15. And 14 was not a success out the door. Matter of fact, they had to send apologies to everyone who got on 14 at the beginning
Right.
because it
And
was
they had to put it completely. They had to completely rebuild it from the ground up. But again, that was also a failure on the director who was originally heading
Well,
it, because
they
they had
didn't
to bring it.
advertise it
No,
well either.
no. They advertise it, but the thing is, it was not built properly. The entire engine, everything about that game was completely broken. That's why they brought a new director on, and he did Realm Reborn. They had to completely rebuild 14 from the ground up. I followed 14 very,
that,
very
All right.
heavily.
Well, regardless of that,
that's facts.
we gotta roll off of that. We gotta get on to the next topic. I mean, I had no idea that. Well, I should have known. But see, I
Oh,
was
you knew.
expect.
You knew
Well,
beforehand.
I knew. But I thought, but you know what I'm saying. But I would have had everybody else. I thought everybody else was going to be here tonight. So I didn't think that I was going to have the three people that love JRPGs the most. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, it's a great discussion. But I mean, we
Well,
got to keep it moving though. But we got to
I
keep it
just want
moving.
to say one thing
Yeah,
and I'll wrap.
Go ahead, sure.
I
Go
just
ahead.
want to say, Ops and Bloody, I would encourage you guys to wait until after the game comes out and we see what they put in the game before we cast judgment and have a fear. Because
I'm
I
getting
mean,
the game regardless, just because of
I
the
yeah.
think
nostalgia.
I
I'm getting it, and
understand.
I did like the
I think
demo.
that would be the best
I'll
approach.
say this. And I said this last year when I played the demo at E3, because I was the only one who was able to get into the demo, because of the fact that it was so hard to get a time slot for that game. I was like, and seeing the demo that they just put out was the same demo that I played a year ago. It was impressive. I like the way that it looks. I like the way that it played. because I really loved 15, and I loved to see the aspects of 15 that were a part of it. I'm gonna play it. I'm absolutely gonna get it. I'm gonna play it and check it out because of the fact that I couldn't get into the original 7. I'm gonna give this one a chance to maybe get me into 7 now.
Gross.
But I also am going into it aware of the whole situation that it's in.
Okay.
And last thing, so we can go on. PK, if Square Enix said half of what you said, I'll be cool about it. Because in my mind, based on marketing, what I've seen and gathered, I'm thinking it's supposed to be a single game, Final Fantasy Remake, not Final Fantasy Remake, the saga. If they said it was a saga and explain that it's going to be multiple parts, because like remaking this in a modern time is going to be a big ass game. But it's, so I'm thinking like it's just back then.
It's still going to be a money grab. It's still going to be a money grab. Op. I know PK make a lot of sense with what he was saying with it, but let's not get it twisted. They know that there's a strong American audience on there. Just when PK said that, hey, look, so they know that they're going to milk the hell out of this game. So anyway, I know this is great discussion. I'm sure we'll be talking more about Final Fantasy VII here a little bit later, but let's get on to it. We got more topics to discuss. I see Lametius from the Zeus popped in here. What's going on with you, bro? You got your mic on?
Yeah, son, I was sleeping. Oh,
damn.
I told my daughter to wake me up. She in the room screaming. That's what woke me up, man. You had a long day.
I said it was your birthday
today, son.
Oh, I said it was
14 hours today.
It was your birthday today, and I said Lemon out there doing the most. He's kicking it. I said, you know what I'm saying? He turned 60 today. You know what I'm saying? But get six candles, not 60, because his old ass can't blow out 60 candles. And I sit there and I'm thinking, you partying hard. You showing pictures in the DMs. I'm like, oh, this dude going hard in the paint. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, look at this. We ain't gonna see him for probably until next week. So anyway, you come in here sounding like you just came out of hibernation. This is not acceptable. Anyway, what's going on with you, man?
What up, Mega? I'm late, man. Yeah. So I'm late, man.
No, you fine.
My daughter, I told her to wake me up. She in the room screaming on her phone, having fun. I said, yo, what the hell? I looked at the clock and said, 10 and some. I'm gonna kill her, but I got right on. My bad, y'all. I'm sorry.
Hey, Six Slayer said, "Oh shit, I should have called Lemon." And that's all good, bro. I thought you was just partying, you was hanging out, which I had no problem with that. But anyway,
here's the thing though. You said he was going hard on the pain and partying, right? I was like, you can't party hard when you got them bunions going off, man.
Ooh, you absolutely right. He do got them corns, so he got bunions and corns.
That's funny.
Anyway, so let's talk about Ori. And the matter of fact, let's just throw it all in because I did show if people who are watching the stream, did get to see Mortal Kombat. You got to see Spawn. First got introduced. Matter of fact, one of my favorite YouTubers out there is Maximilian Dude, and he cried when he seen it. He cried to actually seeing it. It tripped me out. But everybody that I've seen has seen Spawn. They're absolutely happy with him or whatever. But I do kind of want to get you guys' thoughts on that. But the State of Decay, the Juggernaut edition came out today as well. There's another game that came out that's called Bless Unleashed, which is an Xbox exclusive, a timed exclusive. It's only a timed exclusive, but it's an exclusive at this point. And then of course there's Neo, and then of course there's Ori. So we're going to talk about Ori first. If you guys want to kind of skip the other games because you haven't played them or don't have no interest in them, that's fine. But I'm going to go to you. I'm going to let my boy get awoke. But I'm going to go straight to you, Bloody, first. And get your thoughts about Ori. Give me the good and the bad. What is it that have you got a chance to get to play it yet?
No, I have not gotten to play it yet.
Oh, well then you're gonna be quick. You're gonna be quick. You're gonna be quick. You're gonna be quick.
Yeah.
We don't want to hear no long ass speeches.
No, I'm saying everything that I've seen on it, everything that I'm hearing about it, and from what y'all talked about it, has me excited. I was like, I've been watching as little as I can because of the fact that I want to go into it completely like unabashed because the first one, not having known anything, was beautiful. So I want to experience that all over again. I know you said that there were some issues, but I don't see it as
2 hours later.
But for the most part, listen here, you have no right to talk, oh man. You're already an hour late, so shut it.
Okay, go ahead. Continue, Blake.
All I know is that from what y'all have all said from playing it, I just know that I'm excited, and I know to go in that there may be some issues, but for the most part, it's not anything that's very big that'll cause anything to take away from the game. So
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. You know what? Record, because Bloody could not talk about it. It was great. Anyway, Magic. Op.
I mean, I can make it go
No,
longer.
no. You better not.
No, you can't.
Mute.
Yes, I can.
Mute. Ejecto seeker. Anyway, no.
It'll make my life easier.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, I'll go back to Warzone.
I
back
see,
to
yeah,
Warzone
that's what we were going to talk about as well, but I'll get back to that later. I want to hear about Ori. I want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly. And so, Op, I'm going to you about this game and what did you think about it? Of course, I already know, but the people haven't heard. And so, have you got a chance to beat it yet? Because I know you played it. And what is the good, the bad, the ugly, man? What is it?
Oh, I beat it last night on hard. It took like 25 hours in total, but the game overall, I love it.
Going in already.
Yes, man, I went in. Where I had to beat it.
All right.
So I love the first one because I slept in the first one. It's like, it's a platformer. I don't really care if it was that much.
Mm-hmm.
Then I eventually played it when I think we hit Game Pass, I believe. I played it. It was a slow start, but I loved it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited for the second one. So here's the second one. I beat it yesterday night, I want to say. And like, the good?
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
Well, hold on. Start with the bad. Give us the give us the vegetables, then give us the main course, and then give us the dessert. So start with the bad first.
All right, so the bad. Based off my experience, the bad I would have to say is like the bugs I experienced. Basically, for me, throughout my entire playthrough of it, which is unfortunate, there's a lot of freezing. The worst it was been for my entire playthrough was like it froze for like, I would say 30 seconds, and I almost restarted the game at that point. It then decided to work when I was about to exit out of it. That's probably the worst it has been for me. Other than that, like throughout the game, there's constant freezing. Either when I go into the main menu to come right back out, they'll execute command immediately after that. It'll freeze up for like 2 seconds. They'll go back to normal. Or in other cases, like little graphic hiccups at that point. Like the characters, the environments will pop in like briefly after like a transition. Sometimes that'll happen, but it wasn't too bad. Like I would say the consistent bad was just freezing throughout the whole game. I wish that it just went away after a while, but unfortunately it didn't. I'm not going to cap that lie, but I experienced that throughout my whole playthrough. Now, I've been hearing some people didn't experience that. It's been different for almost everybody who's been playing it, so it sounds like I've had the worst of it so far. But luckily, it wasn't something too bad where I couldn't beat the game or play through it at all. So onto the good.
So it wasn't unplayable.
No, for me, it wasn't unplayable. It was just annoying.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I'll say the good. For me, they really improved on everything from the first game at this point. Like, it's still the same art style, but it looks better, which is crazy with art style like this. But like, it looks, I'll say, twice as good as the first game came out. The music, like I believe it's the same composer from the first one. He stepped it up. Like it was crazy in this one, especially in the set pieces and the boss fights as well. Like I was pissed because I kept dying, but like I was getting pumped every time. Kept starting up again, just get me back into the fight at that point. Like, it was amazing, especially the last score as well. Once you beat the final boss, like the gameplay improved it heavily from the first one. Or you can find the first one, of course, but there wasn't much depth to it as well. Just some RPG mechanics. When I think it's 3 tiers of it. They upgrade either your attack or 2 other branches I don't remember. They went crazy on how you can approach different enemies and your tools and different weapons you have. There's a couple different ones you can choose from. I don't remember all of them specifically. I've used, I want to say, out of the 6 that they offer to you, I've used 5 of them, and one I never bothered with. I probably should have used it. But yeah, there are 6 different weapons you can choose from, and stemming from those, there's a different I think other utility-based attacks you can use as well. So there's a lot of tools and weapons that you can use there at your disposal in this game, which is great, which means you can approach enemies from different perspectives and angles. And it's great because like most of the weapons, there's a purpose for them as well, especially with either traversing the environment or encountering certain enemies or bosses as well. Like this is not a sword, but there's an enemy that's a shield, and you can either get behind him and hit him, or use one of your weapons to break it at that point, which I thought was dope. It was a nice addition for the game as well. And as far as those 800 good, I want to say about it, it's just like I kept rethinking everything else. They really improved on everything as well. Like, of course, it's bigger than the first one as well. I thought it was gonna be a bit of a negative because I thought a lot more padding, but like no, like each environment, I would say they're most of them are completely unique from others as well. But it was never a point where I was like, okay, I was getting bored with certain map or environment at that point. Because there are some of them that are actually really that do, I guess they would say, are really unique compared to the different ones. They really throw you for a loop with just the different mechanics you have to approach going into those as well. And I will say the environment hazards in this, there are some of the same ones from the previous game, but the ones that added, they're even more deadly, I would say, and they can be real a bitch to get around. But yeah, overall, this is a great game. I wish it wasn't in a buggy state for me in my experience, but other than that, it's been fantastic. I want to see more from the studio. It's dope.
Okay, so from 1 to 10, what do you rate it?
I'll give it a 9.
Okay, all right.
If I didn't have the experience I had throughout the entire game with the bugs, it would have been a 10 for me.
Oh, so that was the only thing that held you back was the bugs, bug
Yeah,
situation.
because it did not go away, unfortunately.
Okay, all right, cool.
But if they fix those bugs, would you change it to a 10?
If I did a second playthrough, yeah, I would. But my first playthrough, based off of that, it would be a
Right,
9.
he's already beat the game, so I mean, there really isn't a reason unless they have some kind of DLC.
Yeah.
So I mean, no, yeah, I look at
It's
it
kind
from
of set
that
in stone at
standpoint.
this
Yeah.
point.
Right. So all right, PK, what is your thoughts about the game? The good, the bad, the ugly. Start with the bad, then go to the good.
So my experience was on PC. I played my version on PC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
hold on.
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I gotta give a big shout out to Michelle Alexandria. Thank you so much. She just wanted to let her name be called out. Thank you for the support for the podcast. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you for listening, man. And big shout out to Delilah HD, no doubt, for checking us out. But go ahead, PK. What's going on?
Yeah. So I played my version on PC. And I experienced a lot of freezing as well, and that became annoying because I couldn't control my game anymore. Like you couldn't go into your menu or anything. You had to close the application and restart it every time. So hopefully they patch that, and that's my experience on PC. But other than that, the game is very pretty, and I'm assuming it's because they use um, the Unity software to run this game,
Mm-hmm.
and Unity is buggy like that. So I'm assuming that's where that come from. They will have to do it on the back end to fix those freezing situations. But overall, the game is great. It plays really well for a platform. I love the colors that kind of pop at you, and the animation of the characters, the music, everything. Just it's really, it makes you fall in love with the game. The game is great. Overall, I do hope that they would look into fixing those um, freezing and slow down issues that happen in the game. Overall, I would say it's a 9. Um, you know, not perfect, but very good.
See,
Very good.
and that right there is one of them things. I don't know who the hell is slurping on some soup or something, but y'all got to stop that. Y'all got to stop that.
Let me get his birthday suit. That's what it is.
Yeah, for real. Anyway, but okay, so that's the thing right there I wanted to hear. That's why I said start off with the bad and then give me the good. Because if you still give this game a 9 out of 10, and the first thing that you're talking about that is noticeable is these bugs, is still a testament to how good this game it actually is. And I mean, again, Op so far said how graphically, you know what I'm saying, how pretty the game is, or how strong it is graphically. I'm saying, well, Op said it, then PK said it. So I mean, that's a
Beautiful.
testament right there. So
Gorgeous, man.
yeah. So yeah, and so now I'm going to go to you, Lemon. Have you got a chance to play Ori yet?
A little bit.
A little bit. Give me your thoughts on it so far. Have you you can give me the bad right off the bat, and then go on to the good as well, and then give me your score from 1 to 10.
Well, the bad is the obvious. Is obvious, but they put out a patch for the frame rate dipping and freezing. I don't know if y'all all got it, but I received the patch and I didn't really see nothing. I didn't really want to get deep into the game because my issue is I'm struggling with the first one to beat it. So I played a little bit of it. The visuals is definitely over the top. The controls are even better. The layout of the platforming is definitely they stepped it up, and you could tell this time around they paid attention to detail. But the graphics, man, it's not even. It's beyond what I played at E3 the last time. You know what I'm saying in terms of graphics.
And it was amazing at E3 too. I loved it.
So it's just like, yeah, I got to beat the first one so I could even start the second one like I wanted to. I dabbled because I wanted to. I couldn't even hold off. I wanted to just put my hands on it, but from what I've seen, it's pretty solid. And I didn't have too many issues with no freezing or nothing. But like I said, I received a patch, and they're supposed to be hitting it with another one for the issues. And that Unity engine is very buggy, but it's very scalable. That's why I guess they use it again, because I guess it's going to eventually end up on the Switch again, because that's how the last one did. So, okay. But I would prefer them not to use the Unity engine, because the Unity
don't
engine.
Forget they said that they're not planning on taking any of their games and putting them on other consoles for the time being, or they have no plans for the future. That could change.
Switch don't count. Switch don't count, but whatever. I'm just saying that's probably why they kept using the Unity engine, because it could be scaled across, different platforms simpler than if they use Unreal, which would be a little bit more work.
Well, more expensive to license that.
Yeah. So well, they got the bread because Microsoft gonna pay that money. They got that bag. But what I seen is very, very, very impressive, and you can tell that this time around, even though the first one was awesome and it wowed everybody, you can tell that they put even more work into it. So I think it's a pretty solid game.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the pacing in the second one is much better than the first one, Lemon. So like, of course, the first one is a little bit harder for a lot of people to get into because it's a little bit slower in the start. Right. The second one, after I would say maybe an hour or two, it starts hitting from there on out, bro. It gets ramped up crazy, man.
I'm not even talking about the pacing. That game is hard, period. Like it kept me interested. Just that it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's challenging. You can't get in there and Mario Brothers it all day. You got to play. And
really, man.
It's challenging, but it's dope. It's an excellent sequel. And if you make a good game the first time around, people have high aspirations for a sequel. They definitely top that. So I'm impressed.
Thank you, QW Vampire. You know what I'm saying it's a great show. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Without you guys listening to us and without the panel, man, GRG wouldn't be nothing, man. So thank you guys for watching and being entertained. As for me, okay, I played about 3 hours of it. And when I made a video maybe 2 days ago, and I was going in and I was talking about certain things, and I thought that I was saying this then. I could have been saying it in the stream the other day. But I mean, I was like, Ori, I'm going to play it. I'm semi excited about it because I'm not into. There's two genres that I just kind of fell off of, and that is like the horror genre. I'm not into it anymore. I'm just not. I haven't even picked up Resident Evil. I'm just
not. This man a scaredy cat.
No, I've turned it after Resident Evil 7. I think I'm done. I don't know. I kind of want to get. I kind of want to get Nemesis, but then again, I'm kind of like. But see, but I'm kind of out of that thing, and so that's what I'm saying. Like maybe streaming will probably get me back into want to play horror games.
Now who getting old?
It's just not my thing anymore. I've played so many other things. It's just like I find more entertainment in there. But okay, but then also the other genre that I've kind of fallen off of is platformers. So with Ori 1, I never beat it. I was like, that's cool. You never really hear me touting it. You see that I'll talk about it, but I won't tout it like I would with other games because it's just not something that I'm like totally into like that. So
But thank God you're not an Xbox fraud.
Yeah, well,
you got some Xbox frauds. Yeah, Ori's out. Ori don't even play it.
Well, yeah, and so that's one of them things. Yeah, so that's one of the things. It's like, hey, look, I'm not. I've heard a couple of people hit me up, saying, hey, Meg, I don't hear you really talking that much about Ori. So I was just like, and so I was playing another game. And then so I said, you know what? Ori just dropped. Ori just dropped right now. I'm finna go ahead and I'm finna play it. I'm gonna go ahead and play it. You're gonna see me stream it. I jump in and I say I'm gonna play about 10 minutes and I'm finna get out of here, right? I played like close to 3 hours. I fell in love with it. First thing that caught you was the visuals. Like, I mean, the first Ori was absolutely beautiful. So that had nothing. I already knew that. I mean, and what we seen at E3, I didn't get a chance to play it at E3 in 2018, but I did get to see people playing it, and I saw how beautiful it was there. But this is on a next level. Like, I don't want to hear any type of talk about double A. This is triple A graphics, triple A skill set, AAA everything. This got nothing to do with this is not a low budget game. I don't want to hear nobody say that. This game was put with a lot of love. I mean, hell, just the musical score is on a whole nother level. Like that's Halo-esque. Like, the musical score was absolutely stunning. It was beautiful. Like, everything, like, that's all I could say was like, this game is really beautiful. And then when I posted something on Twitter and I said this game is stunning. I don't use words like that to say a game looks hot or dope or whatever. I just was so enamored by like how beautiful this game was, all the colors, and then like I'm looking at certain things where I hear my voice in the background. Somebody can please turn that down. I was seeing like when he used the little sword and everything, or even before that when he didn't even have the sword, he had the little piece of the little fire, and then you would hit something and then like leaves would break or certain part of the elements of the world would break, and I'm like, damn, wow, and I just kept playing and playing and playing, and then I caught myself getting immersed into its world, into everything around it. And then that's when I said, look, this game is special. I'm not even into platformers like this. I'm not, I claim to be, but I found myself falling in love with it. And so I can't give it a score because I've only put, like I said, about a couple of hours into it. But what I can tell you this, now, I'm glad that Pred, when we were talking in the DMs, was not the only one that had because I've heard everybody else talk about frame rate drops and everything like that, and I haven't experienced anything. You could go to Mixer, you can see my stream, and you'll see that there's no lag, there's nothing going wrong with the game. And Pred and Predator said the same thing when he was playing. So I don't know what that could be. You could say that it's Oklahoma internet because there's nobody out here except for tumbleweeds and mules. That's fine. You can make jokes all you want to. But all I know is that it worked flawlessly. And so, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm just kind of like, well, hey, it is what it is. But I think that this game is stupendous. The one thing that I will say also before I see Livewire came in here. Wow, okay, movie time is over. All right, so is this. I see people already getting started by trying to get in, and I already know how tomorrow's going to be, especially with the whole Metacritic score situation, right? People were saying that it's guaranteed 90 this, 90 that, whatever, and I think it's an 89 right now. And I already know that there's going to be a couple of people hit me up tomorrow morning, and they're going to say, "Hey, Mega, what's going on? I got these stands coming after me talking about this and that." Why should you give two shits about what any person that cares not anything about anything Xbox in a positive manner? Don't let them take that energy from you about a certain game that you enjoy, that you love, that you like. They won't let that happen to you, so why would you let that happen to? You wouldn't let that happen to them, so why would you let them do that to you? That's why I say Metacritic scores doesn't matter. That game could be a 50. It could have a 50 Metacritic score, and everybody could dog this game out and say it's the worst game ever in the history of Xbox that Xbox ever had as an exclusive. But then people would actually know that would be an absolute lie. Stop worrying about Metacritic and stop worrying about what reviewers say. If you've played this game, if you experienced it, and it is great. That's all I'm going to say on that. So.
Right, it's the saddest shit ever because
it's sad.
You hear really
it's
from
sad.
podcasters
It's
and
sad.
content creators as well pushing Metacritic scores at that point because people use the
Right.
argument saying it reinforces a brand and gives people hope in the brand if something gets a good score. You are grown ass men and women allegedly, and if someone else liking a game triggers some kind of serotonin boost in your emotions system, you're in this shit for the wrong reasons at this point. You're not in this for your own self. You're in it for, I guess, the culture, the hype surrounding video games at this point.
Right.
That's not necessarily what you like. What you're interested in at this point. You just sound like a goddamn fraud at this point. if you're
Absolutely.
getting off other people enjoying or hating a game. Like
Well,
something's wrong with you.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that cares about that stuff, and I mean, to me, it's
It's
like,
spooky, man. I can't do it.
no, it's absolutely gross. I'm like, why would you care? Like, it doesn't matter. I don't care if Halo Infinite comes out to be a 99. It will get the record of all time best. I'm not gonna throw it into people's face. I'm just gonna post it, and that's it. And then, you know what I'm saying? And even if Halo gets a 75. I'm still going to post gameplay of the game. It's got nothing to do with what it doesn't matter. With Final Fantasy, whatever game that's coming out, who cares? It's about your experience, not anybody else's. And if you allow other people to dictate how you're supposed to feel about a game, then maybe you need to reevaluate your own your own sterner stuff, your own person of your own personality of who you are, and that you may not have enough gumption to not worry about other people outside. I mean, you got to get away from that. You got to get away from that crazy shit. Outside influences should not ever matter when it comes to your entertainment. So, um, Livewire, I'm gonna ask you. I see you in here. What's going on with you, man? Glad you could come and make it.
Man,
Uh,
chilling.
all right, cool, cool. Have you played Ori yet?
Yeah.
Okay, what did you think about it? Give me the good, the bad, the ugly.
It's dope. I mean, I haven't beat it yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not even sure how much time I've spent. Maybe I think maybe 10 hours, but I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, well, that's longer than me. Yeah. So.
But I'm only like 20 something percent, so I'm not that far along. But what I played is nice, man. I like I like platformers. You know, I play the Super Lucky Tales. I play everything that's a platformer for the most part. That's decent. You know, some things I can play through like a Super Lucky's Tales. Other things like a what's that, ukulele? I can't play no shit like that. This shit is just not a good game. Um, but this game it's uh, like we were talking about it earlier. I was saying it's the traditional Ori kind of fused with a bit of was it Shadow Complex?
Mhm.
You know, where you got the different weapons and they upgrade to different levels, and you know, and it's just a lot of variety. You know, before you just like all the weapons that you had or the abilities you had in the previous game kind of just come standard in this one, where then you got to choose between the multiple abilities that you can get. Man, it's nice. You know, I had to shell out my money at that 2200 to get that triple jump ASAP.
Mhm.
I got that shit in the first like 2-3 hours. Man, that shit is a life changer.
Oh, I
But yeah,
bet.
the game is great, man. Um, like the story is good, but even though like platformers, I typically don't play platformers for stories.
Mhm.
Like I enjoyed Super Mario Odyssey, but that shit just don't have no real story. You just chasing around Bowser the whole damn time. You know what I mean? Like, but this is like different. It actually has a story. Like I can't think of anything like too many platformers that really because it's really a puzzle slash it's a puzzle platformer slash action game where you get to mold and
It's
manipulate
the
all your
Metroidvania.
abilities.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's a Metroidvania. But I know people say that, but I never played Metroid like that. It was just not my thing. I know people love it and blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Not to say it's bad or good or whatever. I ain't I'm not a Nintendo dude, so I ain't play that shit. But Ori is dope. Did I get bugs? Yes. I had my bug is the like sometimes when I would die, it would take a while for the screen to unfreeze. So sometimes like instead of waiting, I just like exit out and then jump back in because it doesn't take that long to load up. So I was just like, yeah, fuck this shit. I just jump back in. But you got that, and then every once in a while you have like a freeze. So it'll freeze for like a second, and then you'll go back to playing. And that happens every, I don't know, every once in a while. Maybe sometimes it'll happen once an hour. Sometimes it'll happen every 30 minutes. I don't know if it's based on area or whatever, you know, or how much shit is going on in the screen at the same time. But the thing is, I don't get freezes during combat, so I don't think it's based on like how much shit is blowing up or whatever. Because if that was the case, every time I did a boss battle or one of those combat trials, it would freeze all the time, and I never get freezes during there. It's mostly like when I'm falling from one area all the way down to another. That's like further than that's usually where I get a freeze, or sometimes random and you just get a freeze just doing some regular shit. So, but even with that being said, I still, man, it's a good damn game. I don't know. I mean, is it a 10 out of 10? It could be. Um, I mean, based on the criteria of what it is, yeah, I'll give it that. It's a $30 game. It's more than you get, way more than than a lot of games for $30, and it's not wasting my time. That's the thing I like about it the most. It's like I'm doing stuff for a reason. I'm not just doing a bunch of busy work. That's the shit that gets me agitated when I'm playing like a game that's like, yeah, you got to kill all these guys to do some shit you really don't want to do. Like, it's not like that. But it's a good damn game.
Okay. All right. I mean, me myself personally, I couldn't give it a 10 out of 10 with the bug situation, but but when you look at it from the standpoint of the $30 aspect of it, I mean, and the way it looks, the way it plays, I don't
Well,
know.
I
Something
give
that
it a
plays.
10 out of 10 in spite of the bugs. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. Yeah, well, that's cool. All right. All right,
Because
cool.
to me, there's other games we played that have a lot of issues and they got a lot of high scores too.
Right.
You know what I
No,
mean?
there's no
Like
doubt
you
about
talking
that.
about like the Witcher long ass load screen, like shit. Remember you
Oh,
dying
The
in
Witcher,
Witcher?
The Witcher was
You
absolutely atrocious when it first came
you
out.
sit there and you gotta wait like
Hmm
2 minutes just to get back in.
Yeah,
Bloodborne was worse than that.
the menu system was absolutely atrocious, but that game still got perfect 10. So you're
And,
right.
and
I
that
mean,
and
and
that
that's still my game of the generation. So yeah, I get it.
and
I
Roach
get it.
used to do all kinds of
Oh
weird
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Roach used to do the typewriter. Used to do the hammer dance. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they because
I talk
because
about the dragons doing the hammer dance. Yeah,
cats
Roach be
forget
doing crazy shit.
Witcher got Game of the Year, but they passed. I don't even know how. Like they passed the shit out of that game, dog. That
Uh,
game got passed so
yeah, they
many
they
times.
they patched it a lot, and when they finally got the actual patch, it was like 2.5 years later, somewhere around there. And then that's when I went back and I played it again because sometimes it was like it was almost unplayable. And I mean your point is valid. I mean I look at QW Vampire and they're saying like 9.5. I would put it more into that category if you know what I'm saying, if because it's just the bug thing when you first get the experience because Op already beat the game, PK already beat the game. They're not going to go back and they're going to play that game. So unless they have, like I said, DLC. So if they do that, so their experiences has already been addressed. It's, you know what I'm saying? So it shouldn't. So they're already going to give it whatever it was at that particular time. That's why I find it crazy for reviewers to get the game early and knowing that it has these bugs and they know that there's a patch coming, but they give the review beforehand. I would think that you would give your review afterwards to see if the
Yeah,
patch worked. To give it an actual. To me, that's an actual true score. But the game already came out. People got to see, it and they had and people had bugs. But anyway, all right. So uh, we got three more topics to get to. So we want to. I want to. So this last thing I want to talk about before we get to the three topics is this: is there was Warzone. There's a Spawn. And then there's another game called Bless Unleashed. Has anybody got a chance to play that? Be really brief so we can get this over with. But anybody want to touch on any of these three games?
I ain't
Spawn.
play Warzone.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
go
go
ahead. Go
on.
ahead.
Let's get it.
Go ahead. What do you want to talk about? Well, go ahead. Let me know. Let me know what you think about the Spawn.
I'm back in Mortal Kombat as soon as my boy drop. Forever.
So you gonna be back on Sunday night
Sundays.
fights?
I'm there.
Sunday night fights, huh?
I'm there.
Okay.
That's right.
So I'm gonna get to
Spawn,
put hands
one
on
of my
Spawn.
favorite characters.
All right.
That gets no movie sequels.
Lady Infamous, I hope you listening. You hear Lemon saying it.
No
100. I know you in the
sequels.
chat. Come and do it. Come and bring it. You know what I'm saying? Spawn's coming back next week.
Prometheus got all the DVDs.
That's right. Spawn's coming
HBO.
back.
Let's go.
Lemon's coming back, and I'm telling you, I'm coming for blood, baby. My man looks
Beat your
amazing.
Xbox 448. You know what I'm saying? Bring your ass. You talk about you Mortal Kombat
Coming
Warrior.
back, baby.
Let's go. Let's go. Bam. Where you
Bringing
at?
my hell spawns with me, baby.
All right,
Let's go.
See, I'm talking shit. Bam over here whooped our ass. It whooped our ass a little bit when we after that one dude came in there. Wisp. I don't know if Wisp is a girl or a guy, but whoever Wisp was, they went on a 21 game winning streak. We like, okay, you got to back off now. Beat the brakes off of Bam. Break the brakes off of everybody. Me, Don, and Bam gave him the closest matches, but it was.
Shit, I haven't played Mortal Kombat in forever, so I know I'm gonna be
join into the fight night every Sunday night, man.
bag.
On Mixer, you know what I'm saying? We'll be there. Anyway, so all right, so what did you think about the whole look and everything else, though, Lemon?
Yo, I watched that video like 40 times, man.
Okay.
Yo, you know I told you, even when we was on stage with him, what's the first thing I asked him? About Spawn, right? I thanked him. I said, yo, I thank you for putting my guy in the game because this is where he belonged. You know, Soul Calibur, they did a great job with him, but he couldn't be
Raw.
glorily, you know, like he couldn't be gory. You know what I'm saying? And to see my guy up there, I was like, yo, this is the truth. And then you know
why
what's
they
crazy?
didn't put him in the other game.
You know what's crazy? If y'all notice on one of the he did a fatality. No, I think it was a brutality, and then he sits in a chair.
Oh yeah, that was dope.
You know I got that statue.
Oh, word?
Yeah, it's like it costs like $1,500 now. I got that statue. Matter of fact, I should I'm gonna take a picture and put it on Twitter right now. Yep, I have that. And I was like, my chair's in the building. That come from Medieval Spawn. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take a picture of it right now and post it. See, I go check out my 108 Dragons on Twitter. I'll put it up in like 3 minutes.
All right, cool.
Loved it. You know, I saw that, I had goosebumps because I'm a Spawn retard, man. Seriously.
Okay, so Jay Slayer J66 said him and Bloody are going to train and you're coming for me. You can come for me all you want to. Bloody already tried to come into fight night talking that trash and DBZ fighters and had to learn the hard way. So,
sir, I believe that we were even, so don't even go there.
No, we weren't even.
No,
we weren't even.
And fighters, yes, we were.
No, we weren't.
Yes, because I whooped that ass, and then when you got all drunk and I was already fucked up, you came back.
No. Let's get this right.
No.
Lemon was right there. Lemon was in there. Lemon. Bro. Lemon, you were right there. I was running the run. I ran
you in KI
too.
too.
You can say you got me in KI. You got me in KI. That's cool. I have my moments in KI. Sometimes I'm good. Sometimes I'm bad.
But fighters, we were even on.
Oh no. So then you need to come and prove yourself, sucker, in fight night.
I've proven myself multiple times.
No,
you
haven't.
Just don't want to admit it.
No, I can't admit that. You know what I'm saying?
I still got the proof.
I got the proof too. I got the video. I'm going to show the videos next week.
Let's get that real fight club.
Let's get it. Let's get that real fight club. I don't even want to hear that. I don't even want to hear that. I'm gonna wear you out, sucker. Anyway,
listen here.
Okay, but you want to talk about Warzone right fast. Hurry up and talk about Warzone right fast. Come on.
All right, Warzone is probably is absolutely an amazing BR. It's much better than what they did with Blackout. Call of Duty really stepped it up. I was like, it took a lot of the good parts of a lot of different games, put it all together, and you see how they actually were able to make something actually completely synonymous and absolutely work in a very functional way. It doesn't feel like anything's too awkward. I was like, I actually was playing it earlier, had a lot of fun with it. I was like, the plunder mode's really cool. Got my first win, only third game playing the Warzone. Real badass, real intense. I was like, it's the way it should be. I was like, the gunfights feel good. I was like, and there's a lot more fighting. It doesn't feel like PUBG where you spend 40 minutes in a goddamn match and never see a single person. Nah, here you actually, there's always something going down. I was like, and I love it. I was like, I love it. I was like, it's really, really well done. I was like, so what Activision did with Warzone was absolutely well put together. It was, I don't know if they've been planning it for a while, but this is a much better improvement over what they did with Blackout.
Cool. All right. Op, PK, do y'all have any other these other games? Did anybody play Blessed?
I
Unleashed?
did. I was like, I'm sponsored by Bandai.
Oh,
And
well, hold
Blessed.
on. Wait a minute. You already talked about Warzone. You can't talk again, sucker.
I'm the only one who played Blessed
What are
besides
you
you.
What are you talking about? Like, so
Besides you.
let me talk about
He's
it
not
then.
the only one. Stop.
What? Who's the only one? Who's the only one?
No, I
then?
said he's not the
Oh
only
yeah.
one.
You said okay.
I said, well, listen. I said besides you. Calm down there, sucker. All of y'all getting worked up on, man. Goddamn.
What is
listen,
this?
just because
Limited
the young
Live
ones are all
is here.
freaking out over the T-virus, y'all old suckers got to talk down on a little one.
Anyway, so okay, so
what
level are you on Blessed Unleashed?
Depends on which character I'm on.
Okay, so your first character.
My priest is at 18, my Zerker's at 15, and my Crusader's at 13.
Okay, so you put more work in me. You put more work than me, but I started late because you got early access.
I've been playing since the closed beta every time.
Oh, see, yeah, you've had it. See, I've been playing. I sit here and start playing Monday or Tuesday, and I'm already a level 10. And I got another. I made another character, but I'm a berserker. Let me tell you this. I'm gonna say this. Another genre that I think that I always want to try to get into because I have a friend that's really heavy into ESO online. Yeah,
that was me too.
And he that's all he plays. And so I had to piss him off, and I said, hey man, I moved over and I'm playing this MMO. It's called Blessed Unleashed. And so I showed him some clips of it, and so he got mad at me. He says, why you can't play ESO? I said, because this is a better game in my opinion. So he got pissed off at me. But that's what kept me away from Ori, because I was like, man, I'm going to go ahead and go back to Ori. I've been fiending a little bit, but I keep wanting to get back to Bless Unleashed. If you are into MMOs, that game is hot. I love being
awesome.
It's fun. I love the combo system that's added to it, because it's not the same old one hit. Now, of course, you fight so many enemies that you do, but you can still change up different combos, and the more that you progress, the different the combos, and then I guess the further you get along, you get more special abilities. So, New York music.
Yes, but the biggest thing about it is that as you play the game, you unlock different blessings by doing different things as you go through. And they actually change up what powers you get, as well as what bonuses you'll unlock for those powers to change up how they work.
Right. NYT Music, which who's been watching me on my streams, he said, you know what I'm saying? He says, keep it up, hey bro. Because he came in there with me. He had a creature. He was riding on his back and shit. And I'm like, what's going on? I want to be like my boy Music. So now I got my creature. I've been had the creature. I didn't even know it though. So I had to learn how to do the menu system and stuff. I'm one of those people that just don't. Sometimes
Thanks
I'll read
for waking
the
me
tutorial.
up.
Yeah. So anyway, but it's all good. So but see, Sleepy Goblin said my hunter is $199 in world. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So,
but
anyway.
Bless absolutely.
Yeah, that dog might got the T virus. I don't know.
Nah, I'm gonna say something that y'all all missed out on big details. First of all, Bloody, it's easy to talk down on you. You like 4-1.
Oh. All right. Okay. So we got three big topics.
At least I could stand
guys,
up and not
we
get
got
hunched
three.
over because
we
your
got
back
three.
giving out, old man.
We got three more big
you want to
topics
get
to
that
talk
cane?
about.
I'll get you a walker. It's okay.
We got three big topics to talk about, so we need to knock them out because I want to be out of here in at least the 45 minutes.
Listen, if you want a good accessible fantasy MMO that's free to play that you can absolutely get into, absolutely check it out.
Yeah, check out Blessed.
If you don't like fantasy and you're waiting for sci-fi, well, guess what? Phantasy Star Online comes out next week
Fantasy Star
too.
comes out, and then also if you're not into any of those, you got State of Decay, the Juggernaut Edition. I played it. It's so much more improved. Livewire was right there with me. We was talking about Livewire beat the game. I didn't get the chance to beat that. And then also, if you're not even into that, you still have, and I know me and Don, been playing this with our boy Delirium Blades. We still looking for that fourth person to ride on the boat with us, to hop on the Republican as I'm wearing my SS Hillary shirt or Obama shirt or whoever, Biden or Bernie shirt, whatever. I'm on the Republican riding with the shirt on, and we hitting the seven seas, and they have the DLC, the new DLC coming out for Sea of Thieves, which that game just does not stop giving. One of the funnest games if you got a crew that you can play with. You just got to just do it with a crew, in my opinion. So there's still so much stuff out there. And like I said, Xbox gamers are not starving whatsoever, even though PlayStation has some bangers coming out. Xbox has some games that is doing their damn thing. It's multiplayer. It seems like it's the same. You got the single player things at PlayStation. You got the multiplayers at Xbox. It's crazy. So anyway, let's get to the next topic, man, and that is about Horizon Zero Dawn. And I don't know if we have to be that long about it. I think we've already talked about it. We've dealt with a lot of people in the public that talked bad against our name. They slandered us. They called us frauds. Said that we didn't know what we were talking about. And lo and behold, it was confirmed. You know, is this any surprise, fellas? I'm gonna start off with you, PK. I know you've been quiet for a little while. Um, is this a surprise for you? And is this something that you feel that will hold the PlayStation? Will this hold the gamers back from supporting PlayStation if more games from first party go over to PC? Uh-oh. Oh, okay.
So the way I look at it is, this is going to happen. I mean, it's the same narrative that we heard from Phil. Is, you know, when you only sell so many copies on a console, there is a ceiling of how much money you can make. But when you turn it over to PC, when PC outnumbers the console, your console space, that gives more opportunity to make that money. So if your shareholders is about their bottom line, you're going to make these changes. I understand some. I won't even call them Sony fans, because Sony fans understand that, they're playing a game to have fun. They're not looking at what other people are doing. But the stands are the more extreme individuals that get emotionally attached and turn this into something else and start saying things that are ridiculous out their mouth. The Sony, and uh, tweeting the higher ups, begging them to stop this, and it makes no sense. As first of all, we play games, not companies. We are gamers. It shouldn't matter if someone else gets to play a game. It's not hurting your pockets, right? It's not making and breaking anything for you or against you. So I think this is not the only game, right? Horizon Zero Dawn is just the beginning, and there are going to be more games. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bloodborne or God of War also appear on PC, just because that market is fluid, um, and it's easy to get those games on PC. Now, my question is, what launcher are they going to use? Because uh, Detroit by Human is on the Epic Store, but Horizon Zero Dawn is coming to Steam. That's the only thing that I would be concerned about, is, are they going to do exclusive deals with Epic if they use the Unreal Engine to make those games? I think that will typically be the only issue that I see on the PC.
Well, I also heard that Epic will get Horizon Zero Dawn as well, but I don't know if Horizon Zero Dawn will go to Steam first, or will they go there at the same time. The only thing I know is that it's going to be in Steam and in this summer. On top of that, Days Gone. I'm sorry, not Days Gone, but Death Stranding. They both will be available for PC gamers this summer. So yeah, it's going to be
Yeah,
crazy.
so currently, Detroit Human is only on Epic, and that's what my concern was, because I prefer to use Steam if anything. But that would be it. But I think that's a good move for not just Sony but all games, right? Because we want the ability to play our games anywhere, no matter if you're. Because most PC gamers, and I'm not necessarily a PC gamer, I just play on PC. I'm still a console gamer at heart, but they usually don't buy consoles.
Right.
So you want to tap into that market and hit and get those players um, buying your software, right? That is at the end of the day, that's what it means. It's not about will God of War end up on Xbox? No. So at the very sense, at least it'll be a console exclusive. Who cares if it ends up on PC? That's not competing in the console space. So I think people need to just relax and understand this is good for business, because that means more games are going to be available for everyone. And then those games will get cheaper on the console as well because they're coming out on PC.
I totally agree. I totally agree. What about you, Op? Where do you stand on this whole situation with the Horizon Zero Dawn going to PC?
I mean, it's another issue with fanatics losing their minds at this point over something that's not an issue. Like it's a two-way thing. Like Sony, they kind of built this culture and this environment around their fan base for them to act this way. And at the same time, these are all adults. Most of them are adults at this point. There's no reason for them to be acting this way. So there's faults on both ends at this point. But like it's just funny like how Sony keeps blindsiding their fan base at this point over stuff that shouldn't be an issue, and this is not going to stop. Like he even said in an article, I forgot who was the spokesperson. I think it was the lead, I guess, like the head of the PlayStation Studios. He said in an article to because it was the ease fans' attention, something along that lines. So they already knew they were going to flip out over this announcement. And if they're aware of it at that point, it kind of really speaks volumes to just the mental fortitude of the fanatics within their community at this point. And in fact, this will bother them to this degree because people are like literal death threats. They're going to start to shut out studios and whatnot at this point. And even like developers from Horizon had to come out and just rebuke these people publicly because the sheer volume and just stupidity of it was crazy at this point. But man, it's just like I just laugh it off at this point because like you expect it to happen, but when it does happen, you still kind of take it back a little bit. Like, wow, these people are this borderline insane to lose their minds over a game goes into our platform. But like, all I can say, this is not gonna be the last time it's gonna happen.
Nope. Yeah, absolutely right. What about you, Lemon? Uh-oh. The first messy one.
Woo! Boy, do I love to be right. First of all, for people out here that worship some piece of plastic man and start this console war, y'all slow. Y'all have personal problems in your life, and you need to reflect on yourself. Look in the mirror and say, what am I missing in my life? Because you guys are weird. And I heard all this stuff about Halo and Forza is not exclusive and Gears is not exclusive because it's on PC. PC is not in competition with console gaming. It is two different platforms, and on PC it's a broader audience because you may not have a super PC, but you can still play these games. You know what I'm saying? And for Microsoft to go out here and put these games out and people saying stuff, Sony's looking like, okay, this game did this on our console. Now game over for it. That's it. We have no more eyes to show this to. We dropping Spider-Man to $20. They're reaching to get more sales. And how do you reach a broader horizon? You put it not on the competition, but you put it where it's a general situation. PC gaming is a general situation. Now, they see Microsoft's success on PC, and the fanboys like going crazy. But as a business, PlayStation wants to make more money, and they can't put it on Xbox. So what's the next best thing? PC. So now people on PC see Horizon Zero Dawn. They couldn't get it. Now they have a chance to get a AAA title that was on the PlayStation platform that they can play on their PCs. And who gets hurt? Microsoft doesn't get hurt, and Sony doesn't get hurt. And Sony has another opportunity to make money. 2 different platforms, people. 2 different platforms. And this is what's crazy. Microsoft is a PC company first. So they were supposed to support the PC space. Did people forget about games for Windows when they tried to bring more console games over there in the 360 era? You forgot walking in GameStop and the game said games for Windows on the box? This is not the first time this is going to happen, and it damn sure ain't the last. It's definitely moving forward, and it's good to see Sony's games dropping, the exclusive games dropping on PC, because now that brings them PC people over to saying maybe console gaming is for me. It gives them a different outlook. You don't have games on like Horizon Zero Dawn on PC for just made for PC only. You don't have games like that. You don't got games really like Tomb Raider. This is a good look. And for you fanboys that's always knocking this narrative, as you see, Microsoft is leading the way once again with an idea that Sony said they might be right because they seen that money being made. And we know, no matter what you say about anybody in this gaming business, developer, publisher, console manufacturer, they're in it to make money. You best believe that money come first, not services. They in here to make money with the services. That's the second thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to see this happen. It's good to see these fanboys that say these stupid damn narratives get smacked in the face by reality. I love it. I love to be right. I love it.
No doubt. All right. What about you, Live? I mean, what is your thoughts about the whole Horizon Zero Dawn going to PC? And do you also think that more, like PK was saying, that more PC games, I'm sorry, not more PlayStation exclusives will be going over to PC eventually in a short time from now?
Well, first of all, I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but whether or not the exclusives go there or not, I don't care. Um, I I have no idea why people are just so fixated on this idea of everything being on this one box and holding everything back to that one box. I don't see why you care. I mean, you don't have exclusive content on TVs or computers or anything like that. It should be the hardware. Now, you know, I would say PlayStation is like the Toshiba of consoles, but you know, other than their exclusives being on their console, would I keep a PlayStation if they go day and date to PC? Not likely. Yeah, I mean, I'm just being honest. I got a computer that's strong enough to play those games. But I mean, but most of the guys that cry and bitch and moan, they don't. They say they do, but they don't. Because if they did, they wouldn't play multi-plats on the PlayStation. I'm just saying.
Mm.
You know. I mean, if it was that serious, look, I'm playing Plague's Tale right now. After I played it on my Xbox, but I mean, mind you, it's a damn good game. It's one of the best. It should have been up there for a game of the year. It's damn for sure better than Death Stranding. That shit not even close, bro. Plague's Tale is way better than fucking Death Stranding, and or whatever else PlayStation. What was it? Just Days Gone and Death Stranding, right?
Days Gone, Death Stranding, and there was another game that came out. I can't remember which game it was, but yeah, those were the main.
Yeah, to me, it's up there with Gears of War and what's that other game that came out last year? Damn, I'm trying to remember.
Sekiro?
I didn't play Sekiro.
Oh,
I heard it was good.
Sekiro is good.
I didn't play it because I knew it was going to be one of the games that
Dark Souls games, yeah.
not even that, man. It's like a Cuphead game where I'm up at like 5 o'clock in the morning trying to beat the boss.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm just trying to beat this character. I can't. I know how I get. I can't afford that, so that's why I didn't play it.
Facts.
If I had extra free time to do shit like that, like when I was younger, then sure. But I just knew it was gonna be one of those games I'm just like, nope, I can't feed into that sickness, you know. But yeah, to me, man, it's not a big deal. I mean, look, man, not everybody can afford a PC, straight up. So I don't understand why these guys are so worrisome about like, well, nobody's gonna buy a PlayStation. Wait, somebody's gonna fork up $2,000 to $3,000 to play a PlayStation game on a PC? Like, really, dog? Like, the only people you really trying to hold and handcuff to the PlayStation is people that could actually afford to play it at its highest fidelity on PC. And to me, that's like some insecurity type thing because they're trying to hold it over the PC gamers' heads. Like, look, you only can play it at the level that it is on the PlayStation, and blah blah blah. Now, granted, we don't know what it's gonna look like. Those games are gonna look like on PC, like how much of a bump they're gonna get. I don't know. Like Yakuza is cool, but to me, it don't look no different than on my X, and I play it on PC and Xbox, and I'm just like, yeah, I deleted it off the PC because it don't play no different.
No, it
That's
doesn't.
that's
It
but that's
doesn't.
not a good example though.
Well, I mean,
Well, I'm
I
not
was,
saying that's the
but
only game, but
but
I'm
that
just
was
saying
one of
I'm
the
saying
things for myself as well. Like Live saying, I was in, I wanted to see where mm, the PC edition of Yakuza stood up against the X, and yeah, there really isn't that much of a difference at all.
I don't
Like, I
think this
mean,
is different at all. Like
yeah,
the
it's
frame rate is
very,
the same
yeah,
and everything. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
I saw,
yeah. It's the same.
and my shit.
I'm gonna give you a good example that wasn't good on console. Tekken 7.
Well, yeah, but I'm not talking about.
Okay,
I'm
I'm
just
just
talking
saying
about like a
that
PlayStation type
game,
game. That's
Yakuza,
what I'm
is
talking
not a good example. They didn't put no work into it. They really didn't.
They didn't optimize it,
Right? They
so
didn't do
Yeah, they
nothing.
up and down. Yeah, they
But
didn't.
we
Well,
know how
I
Tekken
mean,
7 looks, and we
yeah,
know
but
how Tekken 7 looks on PC.
I was well. I don't know how it looks on
Yeah, it
PC.
looks
I don't
fantastic. It
play
looks
Tekken.
K
fantastic on
Mega
PC.
does.
I do. I love
So
being over there
they
beating them
got to
to
put
beat.
in the
Yeah,
work.
only
It's
I
person,
not.
know
It's not the
Soul
game.
Calibur is
only
It's
person that be over there giving me some hell on Tekken on PC is Hydra. That's it. That's it.
Well, no,
yeah.
to be it depend. Well, you know what? I mean, they're
It has nothing
gonna
to do with the
what
PC platform
Yeah,
or what
like
you
yeah,
got.
but it
They
Horizon.
got to
look
put that
Horizon.
smoke on it.
Tekken 7 looks amazing on
Amazing
PC.
on
I
PC.
mean,
It looks like trash on
Destiny 2
console.
plays better on PC than
Yep,
console.
online
Which,
better.
which game? Which game?
Destiny 2.
Yes, it does. Man, it's not even. Listen, I don't even. Fuck it. I'm just gonna
That's if
say
you
it.
got that kind of PC factor.
It's
It runs at
on
60
PlayStation. It's on
FPS.
PlayStation 4. It has to be. It has to be if people playing Destiny on PlayStation. It has to be played on the Pro. Because if it's played on the regular vanilla and the slim PlayStation 4, oh my God! I got Destiny on everything, and it is atrocious on the PlayStation 4.
Facts. And
Absolutely
we talking
atrocious.
about the vanilla. You go to the store and buy that ice cream, and you got that Haagen
And
Dazs, and then you got the other vanilla that say vanilla.
But also, and see, I don't know. I haven't. I was thinking about Slick Slayer going and getting that $3 version of Division 2 on the PlayStation as well. Just double dip and just try to play with some PlayStation friends. But I was afraid of it. I'm like, man, I'll just wait. I'll just wait. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. So again, but Tekken Tekken plays better on the PS4 than it does on the Xbox. The Xbox One of Tekken 7 is probably the worst version.
Facts.
Even though it's better, it's I mean it's gotten better. They patched it up, but they haven't gave no X enhancements, which is tripping me out.
Nope.
Like, why? I want to see this HDR
Because they
pop
just
in
ported
my
it.
face.
They ported it straight from the arcade. They
I
did no
know
work.
it's
They
crazy.
just
Soul Calibur
did a
is like
quick
that
port.
too.
Well, no, Soul Calibur.
No, Soul Calibur
Looks
looks amazing.
great on X.
Yes.
Soul Calibur looks great on X. Now,
Yeah.
I would like to get Soul Calibur on the PC. I haven't got it on the PC yet. So if anybody wants to donate Soul Calibur on the PC and we can play, please in the chat go ahead and do that. K Mega is not afraid of K Mooching. I will K Mooch. So go ahead. Anyway, go ahead. Finish up.
K Mooch, okay.
I will
I'm
K
done.
Mooch. I will K Mooch. Anyway, so who was that talking? That was Live? Go ahead, Live. Finish up, Live.
Oh shit.
Okay, you done? All right, never
Yeah,
mind.
I don't
All right,
remember
all
what
right,
we were
cool. My bad. All right, so let's get on to well, only thing I'm gonna say to the stance. I told you so. All right, let's get to the next topic. All right, so here we go, right here, right. This is, I think, is the biggest topic of the night. Um, it's significant because there's so many variables to this. There's so many layers to this topic, and this right here is talking about the toxic environment within Naughty Dog. And it was a Tataku report, and it was one of the developers that left, and I believe that developer went to 343 Industries. Um, and he had a lot to say. And also, this was a big report. If you go and check out the Tataku read, it is a long read, but it is very detailed, and it talks about certain things like it's crazy. So I'm just going to read a couple of things, and then we're going to go. And first person I'm going to go to is Lemon on this. Um, Let me read this. It says, while reporting this story, I heard a number of atrocities about individual developers' experiences. Employees could come in wearing sick masks so they could keep working even with bad coughs before the recent T virus. Um, they'd skip meals or showers. Let me read that again. They would skip meals or showers. One developer, what'd you say?
How's it that bad?
Say that again live.
How is it that bad?
Okay, well,
Skip meals and showers.
I'm going to keep reading it. Okay, so it says they'd skip meals or showers. One developer told me they had seen people so shackled to their desk that they wouldn't even take the time to go to the kitchen to grab the free crunch dinners. They even named them crunch. They were having so much of a crunch that they called them crunch dinners. A few Naughty Dog staff had indeed found ways to avoid overtime, though, working intensively for 8 hours a day and then leaving. But for the most of the staff, there's an unspoken social pressure to stick around. Nobody wants to be the person at 6 or to leave at 6 or 7 p.m. when everyone else plans to stay until midnight or 1 a.m. Nobody wants to be the one developer who's not there on a Saturday, fighting to make every strand of Ellie's hair look perfect. And there's no one in the office telling anyone to go home. Now, there's another part in here. This is, like I said, it's a really long read. But this was the most telling out of everything. And I posted that on Twitter, and I got called a liar. I even, there was somebody that DM'd me and called me a fraud and said that I was this and I was a coward and all this stuff. It was pretty crazy. But anyway, it said on May 29th, The Last of Us 2 will come out. Those who have worked on it tell me they believe it will be phenomenal. Another shining entry into Naughty Dog's quest for excellence at all costs. Some say they think it's the best game Naughty Dog has ever made, which is all positive, right? But listen to this. Yet, there are also those developers, some of whom still work at Naughty Dog today, who say there's a part of them that actually wish this game would fail. A critical flop might show Naughty Dog that this isn't the best way to make games, that this level of sacrifice isn't necessary, that maybe the project isn't worth losing all of these people. 70% of the people that once was with Naughty Dog are gone. That perhaps, no matter how many Game of the Year nominations they win or how high their Metacritic score climbs, all the individual's hair on Joel's eyebrows or the grains of sand in the in Perlap's sack just aren't worth the cost anymore. That's pretty damn sad. That is absolutely sad that there are developers there that are still working for Naughty Dog that comes out and tells you we wish the game would fail because we don't want to go through this again. That
Bro, it's a sweatshop with extra
it's
benefits.
it,
That's what it is.
that's exactly what it sounds like. Listen, I mean, we've had these discussions, and when I posted it, there was somebody, the guy that went to 343. The situation was they basically talking about 46 hours compared to, working 46 to 55 hours a day, and as somebody as for me, Lemon, I don't know how everybody else's work schedule is in here, but I mean, we work way more hours than that, you know what I'm saying, in a week.
Facts.
But you also have to contribute. Look, I go at least take a shower when I get home. Even though I may have anywhere from a 12 to a 16-hour day, I still come home and take my shower, at least get my 8 to somewhat so-called 10 hours, and then got to go back to the grind. But these people are not washing their ass. They that hamstrung. And then on top of that, it goes into the process. It goes into the thought process about the overhaul. Like, I don't know what, because I think your job is more of a union. Like, am I right? 108.
Yes. It's
Okay,
union.
my job is
They can't do us like that.
Yeah. My job is, you know what I'm saying, because they're trying to, in my state, they're trying to destroy unions. So my job is a right to work job. So we have a crazy turnover. We have a lot of people that will try this. They say, hey, I want to get into this business. I want to try to do it. I want to say, hey, what's going on, right? Boom, boom, boom. And then they do for about 2 or 3 weeks, and their ass is gone. We never see them again. So that 70% rate of people that used to be with Naughty Dog, that's all left. And we're talking about the Amy Hennies, all these other big name developers that's been going elsewhere. A lot of them is going over to Microsoft. They just look at this as like, man, we can't do this. So I'm gonna start off with you, 108. What does this sound to you? Does this sound tragic? I mean, or is it one of those things where it's just like, get over it, you just gotta work it? Or is there really a big problem out there in Naughty Dog, and that they need to, and Sony needs to address it?
Well, if they're going to this extent to express themselves, it's like modern day slavery. Like, why you don't want to be the first to go home when you're supposed to? Because it makes like you ain't working as hard, and you don't want to show up. But people got families; they want to go home. You can't be saying, "Oh, you could leave if you want," but the rest of the team is working hard to make this happen, and then everybody's not getting that big salary too. Got to look at it like that.
Right.
They're not all top share developers and they making $2 million a year per person, and it's not like that. They 9 to 5s and they got to work, and they got to put the time in. But this environment makes it toxic. You can go into the cafeteria at your job in that type of environment. People start to talk. When people start to talk, other people start to listen. And this is not a situation you want your developers to be getting into, man, because it may reflect on their work, and or they might leave. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I average about 130 hours every 2 weeks, and I ain't working like that at my job. We may got a union, but you ain't gonna make me not drive the bus. I'm sorry. Like, listen, you if you leave, them people said, sir, you gotta stay on boards, and nah, we not doing that. I'm clocking out, going home, be with my family, and do everything that it takes. But it sounds toxic, man, and maybe they'll change next time, or they lost 70%. Maybe they lost 70%, and that's a big turnover, and that is not a good look. And then, like I said, when you go to hire new talent, and they hear that, nobody ain't gonna sign up for that. Only that starving guy that just need his foot in the door, and he gonna use y'all, and then he gonna be out too.
That's
You know what I'm saying? So
That's exactly what it sounds
that's
like.
crazy.
That's
Crazy.
that's a great point, Lemon, and that's why I'm going to go to you with this one. Op is what Lemon talking about? Like, because that's
Went
that
downstairs.
is
I don't know.
Is that what this is? This is overall, like, yeah, The Last of Us 2 may be one of the greatest games ever made, but is this one from reading that article? and so much turnover and a lot of these new people in. And then there was one part in the article that said that another reason why the game had to be delayed because a lot of new people came over and the old heads had to retrain these young people to come in and to get them up to speed because there were some things that they just didn't know and also that they made mistakes and so they had to go back and backtrack. So does this mean that The Last of Us 3 could be maybe their own Sony's Mass Effect Andromeda? Ah.
Yeah, this I don't know about that part. This whole situation is just terrible, man. Like they're threading needle between.
I'm not talking about this game. I'm talking about the next game because 70% of the people that were working on the Uncharted and the other games, you know what I'm saying, the Jack and Daxters and all these other people, like it said in the article, these people they knew how everybody worked. They were in unison. They became friends. They became tight knit because they all worked hard like that. And then when the dam broke and they said they didn't want to do this anymore, they're like, now you got all these new people, and that's why they come to the conclusion that some of these people would hope that this game would fail. So that's what I'm saying. Will the next game, not this game, will the next game have the potential to be a Mass Effect Andromeda?
It's possible, but at the same time, you gotta look at the facts that this studio has a lot of hyperbole and exaggeration surrounding it. So like Naughty Dog, they have to put out other dog shit for people like to speak up about it and actually say negatives about it. Because me personally, I played one Naughty Dog's games on Uncharted 4. The gameplay was very mundane to me at that point. The story was okay, and everything else. The visuals they're good, not the best I've seen. Definitely not from 2016, 2016 when it came out. At that point. But some people, this is the best shit since sliced bread to them. So they look at everything in Naughty Dog as like the next coming of Jesus Christ in this sense. So like for me personally, if for their next game be a critical flop, there have to be like a massive surge within their fan base, like a massive wake up call for them to realize if it is that bad, it is at that point. But it's gonna be a really hard pill for them to swallow if they do decide to voice it up at that point. But going back to what we discovered about Naughty Dog Studios. Right now, it sounds like they're threading needle between dedication to art and borderline obsession at this point. Because from all the details and context we got from the article of Jason Schreier and even Jonathan Cooper, the stuff he talked about on Twitter, this is very excessive. And I would say in some cases probably unnecessary for game development at this point. Like, I understand you want to look the best as you can possibly be, but the ends do not justify the means at this point. Like the article says, 70% of the studio designers working on Uncharted 4 are gone. They had to hire new people at this point. And if let's say if they even stay, I'm not even sure if they stay even after that point because I didn't read the whole article. It was just I didn't have that time at that point. So right now, they've been working on a skeleton crew for like the longest at this point. That even made it worse for the crunch of this. That even made the crunch even worse for them at this point. So, in all honesty, bro, this is probably the most toxic shit I've ever seen from game developers in this industry. And we thought like Red Dead Redemption was bad at this point. This takes a cake because like literally, because we were aware of I guess like workplace stigmatisms, I could say in a sense. Like in your article mentioned, like if you leave at a certain time, you get looked at a different way. You might get looked down upon because at that point you're like quote unquote leaving your developers and designers to do the work. Which is bullshit because you get paid for a certain amount of hours anyway. You get paid to work what you're supposed to do. If I'm working overtime, I better be compensated handsomely for that point because I'm staying over where I should have at that point. Because when it's time to go, I'm going. I don't give a fuck what's going on. But like, it's just like toxic. Like I was reading what John Cooper said on Twitter. He said like he had friends who had been hospitalized due to like overworking they have, and like it's just crazy, man. Like. He said they needed weeks to recover afterwards from getting out of the hospital at that point because their workload was that intense.
Camp to me. Sounds like a concentration camp.
That's what it is. I'm telling you, like literally concentration camp with extra benefits.
That's crazy.
Like this is just insane at this point. And like I feel like another issue about this, like this all stems from their fan base. Like this could be a controversial point because I believe the studio is very overhyped. and probably a lot of people just buy into the hype and just at this point probably lie to themselves. So I feel like a lot of people, a lot more people kept it real about the studio. This wouldn't be much of an issue. They probably wouldn't see the need to push themselves this far to create the quote unquote the best games in the industry at this point. Because to me, like, I don't see the point in what and the extra links of detail they're going through in these games as well. Because whether people see it or not, I don't see how it necessarily enhances the game going forward. Maybe it adds a little more to the immersion at this point, but like, I just
Hold
don't.
on, Hop, let me say something.
Mhm.
I see the point, right? But these dudes are this is their artwork. Some dudes are very passionate. You got developers that do that, but we're talking about them making the environmental hostile. No, the environment hostile, not them being passionate. Because you got developers working 24 hours around a day trying to make their game to be received by this gaming community. But we're talking, it's really about making the work environment hostile. Because that's what it sounds like.
That's what it is, bro.
Yeah, it's more than just because you, like I said, there's devs out there that crank up that overtime. I gotta get this 59 frame rate. It's not good enough. It has to be 60, and they work. But when you're working for a bigger company and you just part of the engine, and the environment is toxic, that's the real issue. Not the putting the work into the game, because all the devs put work into their games. It's just that the environment you're working in, is it sunshine, coconuts, and canopies, or you working in a desert with sand camels, spiders? You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's really about more than anything else.
I think
Every dev puts their blood and sweat into their game.
Oh, of course, they do put a lot of effort into it, but I don't think it's worth. I don't think it's worth it when we look at the outcome of it, of all this dedicated hard work. Like even the article, it started off with saying like there's devs working in the studio while it's being worked on by construction workers, and like some debris, a pipe fell on like the desk they're working on. And if it fell like a couple feet, or like a feet or so, a couple inches or a foot in one direction, someone would have been killed. So he had people working in a building while it's being worked on for this game, bro. That is insane. That's like putting children in a school while it's being worked on because you gotta get kids in the classrooms so teachers can get paid. That's bullshit, man. Like this is just asinine, man. Like
it's crazy.
It's hard for me to want to wish the game to fail, but at the same time, if it did, this might be a wake up call for them, or it could shut down the whole studio. So I can't really commit to that narrative. Say it should fail.
Right.
This is real touchy subject, man.
Right.
It
is touchy. I mean, I think that they would get away with it because they have so many great games. But again, if let's say that the game did get bad acclaim, then of course, Sony does not give two shits about giving people the axe. I just think that they would get a pass just because of all the work that they do. But before I go to UPK and get your thoughts on this, I do just want to read a diehard PlayStation fan. This is what he said about this. He says, "I wouldn't give a damn how many hours it takes to make Final Fantasy VII or any game. Okay, just make it happen. By the date you claim it, would happen. I don't care if you finish the motherfucker in an underground bunker with Satan as your goddamn manager. I just want the finished product."
Okay, Slave Master.
No. Let me say something to him. You must don't have a job and you live in your mom's basement.
No,
that's a fact.
Dude, be flexing money
because
and all this shit
that
like
is
that.
Disrespectful to somebody, man.
Hey, this is his words. You know what I'm saying? It could be just shock and awe, but when I read that, I was like, you got to be kidding me. So, PK, what is your thoughts about this whole situation as a whole, with the whole with Naughty Dog? I mean, are they going to extreme with this? Do you feel like it's that people are kind of taking this too far? You know what I'm saying? This is just normal business practices. Where are you at on this whole situation, bro?
So working in tech, we all get paid salary, and we all understand that sometimes we do have to work over depending on what's going on, what project you work on, what breaks, right? And these guys getting paid salary. They're not getting paid overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so working any time over 40, just because it's okay for you, or you can be okay with that, because a lot of people do work over 40, but they also getting compensated for that. A lot of us are not getting compensated for that.
Facts.
So that becomes stressful. And a lot of people can't handle that stress. Just because you can doesn't mean the next man can. So when you look at his tweet on a high level, he looked like the way he was expressing himself, he was venting and basically talking about how stressed he was and how he was worried about the environment. And that's why he left. And when you look at that, um, it's more or less that it's, of course, it's not just Naughty Dog. It's in general, but
Facts.
Glassdoor is a real thing now. And I don't know if you guys been to Glassdoor and looked at Naughty Dog, but there's a lot of people who reference what the interview process is and what it's like to work there. And when you look at these real life people who worked there and went through the interview process, those things will give you an idea what it's like to get involved with this particular company. I know that wasn't a thing a couple of years ago, but it's a thing now. And going forward, it's not sustainable to keep that kind of environment with that much pressure and stress, and still keep on succeeding with these games. It's going to pop at some point. So something will have to give. Either the people will get up and quit, like you said, 70% of everyone who worked on Uncharted 4 left, and more people will leave and decide not to work for them because of the environment, or the games will start coming out with lower quality. So one thing we'll have to get is not sustainable. And I do empathize for these guys who end up under these stresses, because it is not for everyone to work-life balance is a real thing. It has to be a balance. If it's a non-balance, things will break, either the people or the things. And if it affects your pockets or their pockets, something's going to break. So
Right.
I think it needs to be taken seriously on every level. So to look at it from a high level, I think it's a serious thing, and they need to review. I'm not going to say it's Sony as a company's fault, because they have managers who work at that department to actually make these decisions. It's those people who need to get a review on how, and not just throw bodies at a problem, but actually have a strategic way of dealing with this. You have a AAA game and you have a crunch time, you don't put the pressure on your A team. You go and contract out some A team members to come and help you. You don't just stress out and burn out your A team. That's the wrong way to do this. You don't
Let me
see
in,
Nintendo having this problem.
Yeah,
let me
Nintendo
that's
inter-
worked
true.
on
But hold on.
Oh, my
Worked
bad.
on
No, go ahead. Go
Nintendo
ahead, PK.
worked
Finish
on
up.
Zelda for many years, but you don't hear them complaining about these work hours or strenuous environments.
Right.
But Nintendo pumps out quality game after game. And I'm not trying to sing for Nintendo, but I'm just saying you don't hear it from them. They have different practices and how they treat their employees. And
Okay.
that's all I got to say.
Well, no, I mean you make a perfect point, and then also it's the fan base. I'm gonna 100 is pretty adamant about what he's saying, so I want to read what 100 is saying. So, but I have to agree with you on that, PK. Is because there's multiple factors to this. One is that Nintendo is they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, I suppose, or they keep it very hush hush. And then also I think which is the biggest factor is that their fan base is the most patient out of all of them. They're more patient than the PC community. They're more patient than the Xbox community, and they're damn sure more patient than the PlayStation community. Or I should say, Xbox is probably the most. It gets the most scrutiny for everything because of the fact that you not only have stands that's on Xbox's shoulders, but you also have Xbox fans that and stands that's on Xbox's shoulders for everything. Well, we need this right now, now. PlayStation. Now we're finally starting to hear some things from PlayStation fans and stands because there hasn't been anything live. What's going on, man? You good? You good over there? You ruffling over there? Look like you fighting with your mic. But is it one of those things where it's um, Sony's been too quiet for them, and it's taken a long time, but they've been a little bit more patient and a little bit more accepting for what Sony has been doing because their little mantras because they give out their quality games or whatever. PC, they're just in a whole nother era, just whatever. But Xbox, Nintendo is definitely quiet. But let me go ahead and read this stuff from 100. Where'd it go? It's right here. He says, if you work for anyone, you always have an option to leave. No one's putting a gun to your head. If they are good enough, someone will pick them up. He also says, if it's too hot in the kitchen, get your ass out. He also said, you know what Nintendo does? Saying you know what Nintendo does? They are in the East. How do we know because Nintendo is in the East? Well, it's just so is Sony. So I mean, again, like I said,
the Night Dog's over here in the States.
yeah. Like I mean, and Sony is now moved over to the state. And then also, listen, whatever that Nintendo does, they either, like I said, they either have shit under wraps so tight to where nobody opens their mouth, or it's just like what PK said, their practices is just absolutely a lot more better. It's just a lot better, and it's like people's been
It's a
asking
cultural
for
thing too,
yeah.
as well, because even the animation studio, in the animation industry, and I guess in the Eastern culture as well, the developers, studios working these animes, it's almost the same exact situation for like going to Night Dog in some cases as well. But the thing is, they don't speak about it much as well because from a cultural thing, I guess for them, it's gonna be hard for me to explain without Bloody being here. But like from based on
I saw that
they're a
documentary.
little bit more
Yeah.
accepting of those type of environments.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's
They also built on a culture with not those type of they don't have that Western look on work. They look at it differently. They're supposed to bleed on their knees. We ain't bleeding on our knees, Duke.
Well, I mean, you say that, but there's a lot of Americans that are bleeding on their knees.
No. Facts. But I'm talking about culturally.
Well,
they like that.
Yeah.
Remember,
Americans
made the cell processor hard to program for because the challenge.
Yeah. That's a different challenge, but
they're just different.
I need to go to Livewire to get his thoughts on this, and then we get to our last topic and get out of here. Live, what do you think about this whole situation with Naughty Dog, man? I mean, do you think this is atrocious, or it's just business as usual? It's just just get over
business as usual. I think a lot of these companies do this. To be honest, to be fair, look, there's no union as far as I know for gaming.
No, they're working on trying to get a union. Yeah,
and so they're gonna exploit it. No different than any other industry.
Facts.
I mean that's what it is. Basically what they do is I was listening to I was looking at some guy's tweet, PlayStation guy on Twitter saying how I'm trying to remember verbatim. He was basically saying like, oh, Naughty Dogs are like the champions or something, just like a sports team, so they know about sacrifice and stuff like that. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know about that, because it depends on who's doing the sacrificing. Because if you're overworked and undercompensated, that shit's not, bro. That's not that's not cool. That's like, what I mean? Like if the Lakers had, like, if the NBA season was still going and LeBron James is out there getting paid all he's getting paid, but he's scoring like 5 points and 10 points, but then all the dudes that are coming off the bench that ain't getting no money out here doing all the heavy lifting, like that's basically what they doing at Naughty Dog. Just be like, yo, do this, you do that, you do this, and we gonna win. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's part of the culture and what's going on, but it's not new to gaming. I mean, a lot of places do it. It ain't just Naughty Dog. It's just that because there are, basically there's always somebody coming behind trying to take their spot, and that's the only reason why this environment is like this, because you have nobody to say, all right, we don't have no union, all right, you could basically get undercut by somebody who's going to work harder than you for cheaper than what you're asking for. May not be as good, but guess what? You can employ a bunch of dudes and women that are less talented than the people you have, but for much cheaper labor.
But live,
That's
that's
what it
gonna.
sounds like.
But I know it does sound like that, and that's how that article was coming out because there was a lot of people saying that. But this is a different type of everybody. If everybody's in unison, it's just like a sports team. You can have all the talent that you want for a cheaper price, but you get what you pay for, because if these people that once were making games that were so iconic, then they leave, and then you have other people that coming in and stepping to take their place. It turns into a situation where their work is not going to be the same as they're not going to have writing as good as Amy Hennig. They're not going to be a person that can make strands of hair better than the person that left for 343, or anybody else that did, or a designer that knows how to do a certain type of like physics that's gone to the initiative. It's totally different. If it's all in unison, these people know how to work together, then it's a thing where it's like, I got
Well,
this new person here, and I don't know. It just don't seem like it's going to gel the same, and it's
I'm not
going
going
to
to
affect
say
the game overall.
I'm not going to say that's necessarily how it's going to happen, because there's a couple different ways you can win a championship, right?
Hmm.
You can win a championship doing it like Naughty Dog, or I would say like the Patriots, right? You got the big money guys at the top, and you just fill in the little cogs at the bottom. You know what I mean? That's what it sounds like Naughty Dogs is doing,
But
right?
but 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 yeah, but hold on, wait a minute though. When people win championships, what kind
Hmm.
of championship? Who are the people that wins the championships the most? Do we ever see any new booties that just get out there and they just and they win a
Nope.
championship?
Blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, it's always is the veterans, and that adds a little spice, a little, what I'm saying, a little sprinkle of new blood, but it's overall the whole nucleus of that team is those veterans.
Oh
And if
yeah,
you
of course.
yeah, and if those veterans leave, then just like any team, they may have championship aspirations, or they may be a championship team on paper at the beginning, but it's just like how the Patriots did. Belichick and them, they finally got their just due. They kept
Yeah,
on
but you,
they kept on
but you'll
not
have
paying people, bringing new people in, and shit just didn't work at the end of the day. And
yeah, but that's
they
just
got
like
they got beat.
that's just like Naughty Dog. They have
Yeah.
their people that are superstars that are at those top tier positions, but
Right.
the guys that are underneath them are, they're the lower
They're the
tier
manual
artists.
labor. They are the
Yeah.
manual
Yeah.
labor.
Right.
So they got the guy who's going to tell these, underlings
Underlings.
or
Yeah.
minions or whatever, like, look, this is what you need to do. I'm basically supervise what you need to do. I know how it needs to look, but I'm not going to necessarily have a lot of people that are, I don't have one, two, three, four people that are super talented. So I compensate. So I stretch that four people that I'm gonna pay into about 20 or 30, and I just, instead of giving this guy all this work to do, I break it up amongst all these people. That's basically what they're doing.
Right.
Versus
But it sounds dangerous though. I mean,
it
that's
could
yeah.
be. It could be, or you can go the whole, the Chiefs way and get all the talent and see, if you can,
But is it
win that
rookie
way.
talent or is it veteran talent?
Oh, well, if
Veteran.
the rookie's special, hey,
Yeah, well, he's not a rookie. He's been in the league 3 years. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
yeah. But I'm just saying. But
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is like, look at Moon Studios. They ain't been around that long. I mean, granted, yes, they technically have been around the block, but I'm saying the studio. They only have 2 games under their belt.
But
as
they've
far
been
as we know.
together for a long time though.
And they got some vets on deck.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean
They're not brand new developers.
but there's nowhere you're gonna win without some vets on deck. You got to have some order and structure. That's everywhere,
Right.
right? So I mean, it's just different models, you know. There's no I don't say that there's no one way to do it. I mean, this is the way Naughty Dog is doing it. You know, we'll see if it's sustainable. Because the thing is not only do the people that are being crunched get fatigued, but also the people that have to basically, you know, crack the whip, they're getting fatigued too. Because how many times are you going to have to explain yourself to somebody who's just not as talented, you know, or a group of guys that aren't as talented? It's just, you know,
Yeah. No, I
you know,
totally agree.
because remember, this is the basically what people were talking about when they're saying, "Oh, why isn't the initiative like 200 or 400 or 500 people?" It's like, bro, when you got talent, you don't need that much. Look at Ninja Theory, what they did with Hellblade, and they said they're not gonna make a huge team. Why? Because when you have talent,
Well, they're gonna
you
break
don't
them up.
need
Yeah.
a yeah, you don't need a ton of people to do a job like that if you have talent. That's the difference. When you don't have talent, yes, you have to compensate. So therefore, you just throw more bodies at it. That's all.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I mean, I think because of the success of the old heads, the veterans that were there, I think that the Last of Us 2 is going to be a phenomenal game. But I think overall in the future of whatever that they're doing, if whatever type of game that they decide that they want to make, I don't know. I think we might actually start seeing the you know the might start seeing some slippage because I mean,
Yeah.
you can't have all that talent and all that talent and then just lose it and then just throw somebody in. And I understand that you might can find a couple of pieces in there that can be just as good, you know what I'm saying, or even better. But not everybody that you're coming in to be just people that's just coming in to try to
Hey
get
man,
their
all
way
you
in.
like
So
this
I
is
don't
my
know.
thing, K Mega. All you need to have is the guy that knows how to orchestrate everybody and put them in position to win. That's like you can either win like Lemon always says with his boy LeBron, right? You either have the talent that can win you the championship or you got the coach, right? Now, Larry Brown beat the Lakers with less talent,
Yeah.
right? Because he's a good damn coach. Well, I mean, at least that year.
Right. That
But
year.
that's what it is. Sometimes is if you know if somebody has the vision, to make it work, that's all you really need, man. I like I said, we won't know until years down the line.
All right. All right. Cool. All right. So let's get on to our last topic and let's get the hell out of here. E3 cancellation. I'm just gonna kind of get
Womp
this
womp.
right. I mean, we were talking about it the whole. They gave their speech, and I think some of us that were getting ready to go out there already bought our tickets or whatever. We got hit back from E3, basically telling us and letting us know that it was canceled, things like that. So, um, I guess I'll start off with you, Op, on this one. Uh, what is your thoughts about the whole E3 cancellation? And the bigger question is, we know why this year that E3 is canceled, but is this potential that this could be the last year for E3 overall?
Me, I hope not, because like at an event like this, I would not want to see it go away, no matter how much the media or
Uh huh.
certain
Uh huh.
particular people in this industry want to go away, so they can just boost up their own show, aka Jeff Keighley. But like something like this is needed, if I guess as well in the states as well, because there's Gamescom, of course, in Europe, I believe there's Tokyo Game Show and all these other events. But I feel like E3 it does its own thing, staying amongst there with the other gaming conventions as well. So I would not want to see it go away. Will it come back in the future? It depends though, because as far as I'm concerned, the ESA, this is their biggest stream of revenue at this point, and they're refunding people who bought their tickets as well. So I'm not sure how they. I don't know if they will pull up and come back next year doing an event, and then even after that, will the publishers come back and do an event with them as well? Because this isn't cheap to host an event like this, have your booths, all that stuff, person, all that stuff. It's not cheap to facilitate all this stuff for the ESA nor the developers and publishers coming out there. And if the publishers and developers see how much money they can save potentially for doing just online events, like some are doing, like Microsoft, and I think someone else confirmed to do that online. I think it was Ubisoft. We will do an online event as well.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing an online event.
Yeah,
everybody.
pretty much going to.
Everybody. It's everybody.
Okay. I didn't hear anything from Bethesda, so I might have missed that then. But if the publishers see how much success they can have with these online events instead of go out to E3, I don't know if they want to come back and do an extra show next year, but we got to see how things play out. I hope they do come back because, like, me personally, Bethesda and Microsoft, they had the best convention out there, especially Bethesda. They are top for me. And I would hate for something like that to go away. But yeah, I'm just hoping for the best for everybody who's involved in the situation. I really do hope people just step away from these bullshit narratives and just see the importance of E3 and what it means to the fans. People be able to go out there every year, just chop with the people that we either met online or whoever, and just have a good time, talk about games. But yeah, I just hope it doesn't go away.
All right, what about you, 108? What is your thoughts about this? I mean, is this potential?
No.
Okay.
God damn it.
Well,
hold
on, man. I gotta ask this question.
Do y'all not read what I posted in there? What did I post in GRG today? A direct letter from E3. What did it say?
Couldn't tell you.
I know what it
you
said.
didn't read it, goddamn.
I know
Yeah,
what
right.
it said. I know what it said. What you getting mad for, sucker? Go ahead and explain.
Because that's why I put the information in there so we be ahead of the 8 ball. First of all, they said they were sorry for canceling the event. They're issuing refunds. I told Bloody they have to issue refunds. No, it's in small print. No, they got to give you back your money when they cancel.
I know.
When they cancel,
Don was worried about that too as well. I was like,
that's why I circled it. I put it in there the other day.
That would be the thing that would cancel E3.
That would finish them.
That would finish them. If you don't refund people that money back,
right? It's not our fault.
And then you got all these other media entities that's trying to dictate what's going on within the problems with ESA and with E3. Yeah, right. That would be the thing that would end it right there.
E3 is going nowhere. They already started planning for next year.
Okay, all right.
They're getting all their vendors back. It's all in the letter that I posted that they sent me today about my refund, and I put it in there to put the GRG podcast at ease because ain't nothing is better than the proof in the pudding. And let me explain, man. I was gonna do this video, man, but I said, you know what? I'm gonna do this on the podcast. E3 is the biggest electronic show on the planet. Not Tokyo Game Show, dedicated to Japanese games. Not Gamescom, mostly European games. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's the biggest, where every developer from around the planet comes through in one place. Every developer, including the indies that be posted outside with their little booths and whatever. It's not going anywhere. E3 is about the gamer, and now that they open it to the public, it will be even better. Gamescom has always been open to the public, and people are like, that's the biggest. No, it has the biggest public attendance, not developer. E3 will not be leaving. Plus, E3 is more important than what everybody thinks. We experienced it 2 years back to back. You know what the best part of E3 is? Hanging out with your homies, the partying, the camaraderie between all type of nationalities and different style of gamers. There was no console war. There was none of that out there. And just being around a whole bunch of other nerds that's exactly like you, coming from all different backgrounds and nationalities and religions. That's what E3 is about. You think I was hurt because they canceled it? I could watch Series X being announced on YouTube and be just as happy. You know why? Because we was happy to see it at the Game Awards. Everybody was happy. But E3 is more about linking up with your homies, going to new restaurants, having a good time, the social environment, meeting new people. That's why E3 is important. And that's why they already started planning for next year. It's not going nowhere. It's a big money maker. And it's a big social situation. You know why? They started letting us back in with the cameras? Because media cannot compare to the public on social media. We quadruple them. and that's free advertisement, whether positive or negative, for the devs out there. They're happy to talk to you. They're happy to brag about their games. They're happy to tell you the vision that it takes to put into their games. Am I wrong, K-Mega?
No, you're not. You're not.
And this is why it's not going anywhere. Of course they're going to show up next year. The coronavirus and cancel E3. It canceled my daughter's school today.
The what virus? The what virus?
I mean, CV.
Okay. All right. Got
CV.
Okay.
The CV has. It's not just about E3. We got sports being delayed. One dude said, "This is a money ploy." I said, "Who the hell making money?"
Nobody making money.
Ain't nobody making no money. I said, "You slow." That was this morning in the store. I went to get my coffee. I said, "If you're going to talk, please know what you're talking about." NBA season's postponed for 30 days. Who make money over that?
Nobody. And it could be
Stock
postponed
market,
even longer. Yeah.
plummeting. My daughter's school closed today for 2 weeks. This is crazy. My job is they doing all kind. You listen, just a bad situation. But next year they'll be back. So when I post something, you make sure you read it, because I don't be posting stuff like y'all be posting all day.
Listen, I got the Spark notes. He said, y'all getting refunds. That's all the information I got from it. I left it at that.
And left it at that. That's all his mind was thinking about. Dollar bills, y'all.
So it ain't going nowhere, people.
Yeah,
it ain't going nowhere. And as E3 will be back next year, we'll be right back at it, bringing y'all that content on all our channels.
Well, now that we got the incentive to even do more. But anyway, hold on. We got to get to 2 other people in here so we can get on out of here, because we hitting that 3-hour mark. All right, so Livewire, what is your thoughts about this? Do you think that it's E3 is in trouble for this future?
I think what they'll do is they'll take their time and they'll, see where their issues are, because it gives them the time to breathe for a little bit. So see where the issues are, see where they're going to appease some of their media members that are bitching, and then also account for the fans. Because my thing is, look, I think that E3 is going to become a video game version of Comic-Con. Like, you don't hear people complain about Comic-Con. Both media and fans go there. So that's what you got to do. You got to make something around that. You still have your exclusivities and stuff, and the media gets that stuff. 'Cause that's really what they be bitching around. They don't want to be around stinky ass people. That's basically what it is. You're like, I gotta sit next to this stinky motherfucker. So but E3 will be fine. They just gotta rework it. But it doesn't make any sense to get rid of it, bro. It's mad money to be made right there. The hell, get rid of it for what?
All right, I totally agree. Okay, all right. PK, you'll be the next to the last one for this topic, for the last topic for the night. Give me your thoughts about the whole E3 situation. Do you think that E3 is in jeopardy for next year?
No, these all the companies that participate plan these events a year out, because this is not just event for them. This is for marketing, networking, and all kinds of things. They got product to push, so they use this platform to get their information out. Yes, they could do digital, but there is something about planning for this particular event to give the marketing team time to put together whatever they need to get their news or trailers, or how they are. Because think about it, the shows they put on are particular. It's not just random stuff, right? It's not just the show. It's the booths. It's everything. They need time to figure out where they're going to put all this stuff. Which part of the floor are they getting? All that good stuff. So they're going to be, all the events is beneficial for advertisement, for marketing. So I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon. If it and I might be wrong, but I just don't think so. I think for a business perspective, all these events are beneficial.
All right, cool. Other Zinc, I already see what you're trying to do. No, sucker, it ain't that long. We hitting right at the mark. We got 4 more minutes before we hit that 3. I was trying to do 2.5, but again, everybody nerd out when it turned to Final Fantasy. It was bloody. It was PK and it was op. I really couldn't even say too much of anything. They overtook the show, but it was a very good discussion. I had to admit. Anyway, so and bloody had to step out. He probably had to go schedule to do a stream, or he had an emergency, but he had to leave.
Had an emergency meeting with Satan with his new chain.
That's right. Probably. He probably had to go rework something on that. Anyway, so we're about to get out of here. Only thing I will say on this is that I pretty much agree with everybody on the panel. Is that pretty much it needs to be fixed. And I actually think that this actually helps E3 overall, especially with the whole problems that ESA was having, because it seems like they were limping into E3. They had everybody ready to go, of course, but it still had a bad stigma because certain individuals wouldn't come, Sony didn't come, and then, of course, because of the T virus, and then 1/8-bit left, and then that made it seem like that gave this rumor that they were gonna be folding over. But like everybody's been saying, and people that I've been reading in the chat, E3 look. Even if they have to move E3 from LA to New York to Texas to Washington to whatever, I don't know. But even if they have to move it, I do not ever see E3 ever going away, because the market, you know what I'm saying, the US market in video games is #1 in the world. It would be asinine to take away that and then give E3 away to someone like PAX, because that would be the next group that would do it. And PAX is everywhere. So as for me, I wouldn't mind going to travel to Dallas, you know what I'm saying, or make that trip to New York if I had to or whatever. But I think it's going to be fine, and it gives plenty of time for the ESA to find the right person to take over and to get the right things together so everybody can be in the same thing. So because I do like going to LA. LA is a beautiful state. I wouldn't just live there. It's just too crazy. Water's too goddamn much money. Anyway, so we're about to get out of here. PK Live, thank you, man. This is your second show. Man,
He's the new rookie.
He's the rookie. I know. He's the new rookie of the year. Bro, where can they find you at? I seen that there was a couple of people that was asking, Mr. Kima included. Where can they find you at, and what is your Twitter handle so they can hit you up and start giving you information themselves?
At PKX Live. Hit me up on Twitter anytime. And thanks, guys. I appreciate the show. I appreciate hanging out with you guys. Much love, much respect.
We're going to get you to E3. Let's go.
Yeah, we're going to get you out to E3. Yeah, we really can make some shit happen next year for sure. What's up, Super G, a.k.a. The Driver? That's what I'm talking about, man. You got to bring your ass on the show. I seen you was on there with Lemon. You need to come on here with me. That's what you need to do.
Yo.
We can sit there and have a good conversation.
Don't do that.
What?
Don't do that.
What's happening?
Don't do that.
What are you talking about?
He wasn't on there with Lemon. He was on there with GRG.
But he was on there with GRG with Lemon. But you know what I'm saying?
GRG with Lemon.
Yeah.
What do y'all? No, I can't say that.
What was you gonna say? I thought you was about to go left. Anyway, all right. But no, man, a.k.a. The Driver, man, my boy, man, Super G, man, really good people, man. Now you the junior. You have graduated. You are now. You ain't graduated yet. You a junior. You still got. And people in the chat, please let me know Operation Ops nationality. We have to know what his nationality is. I know. Lemon knows. But I don't know if Livewire knows. I don't know if PK knows. So regardless,
I'm pretty sure they can look to the right on the panel and take a good guess what I am.
Listen. All you got to do, people in the chat, let us know what nationality you think Operation Ops is. Don't be confused by the picture, because that shit don't work. Listen to, you know what I'm saying? Let us know what you think his nationality is. But while people are over here guessing your nationality,
I put my guess in. He's Filipino.
Woo! And tell us where they can find you at. What's going on, bro?
Disrespectful shit, man.
Welcome to GRG, brother.
You can find me here every Friday on GRG, and of course on Smack Podcast every Saturday night at 9 Eastern. And of course on Twitter at Operation Oppo. Keep it real simple.
100 was giving you props. He said, Op is talking? Op is, ever since the Final Fantasy debacle, Op has been going to work. I like it. Op has been very vocal. I like it. He's over here he's getting in the fray. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love it. I love the back and forth. It's great. It's great. It's great. So anyway, here we go. Livewire. Glad that you
Word.
could make it. I know that you was doing your little anniversary thing, you know what I'm saying? So I guess you put it to bed or
Still?
oh damn.
No, no anniversary.
I thought you said anniversary.
No, it's my wife's birthday.
Oh, I knew it was something. Damn, I knew it was
Like,
something. I thought it was
okay,
anniversary.
all right.
I was like, it's your anniversary.
Oh,
Yeah.
everybody delete that from their thoughts.
It's
Don't
our
erase that from your memory
anniversary.
banks.
Hey,
Can't make us sing it.
anniversary. Okay, all right, go ahead, man. All right,
Lord.
so
Killed the classic.
where can they find you at live?
You can find me on my channel. I've been posting up a couple of things here and there. Actually, I gotta post up this video of me playing the Plague's Tale. Man, I love that game, man. This shit is nice.
Yeah.
Especially after playing it, like, you play it on your X, then you get to play it on your PC. That shit clean. Yo, this State of Decay update, this shit is super official.
It's
dog.
dope.
Yes, it is.
It's dope. It's
Shit.
real dope.
Popped it on for 5 minutes just to look at the graphics.
And it's great on both the PC. Like, cause the thing is, for the
Ooh, I wanted to
PC,
see it on my PC then too. Yeah.
you had to always at least I did. I had to always like sacrifice the resolution for like adjusting.
frames, yeah.
I don't gotta do. I could turn everything up now. Whatever they did, they fixed it. So now I just like Forza and Gears, I could just turn everything on Ultra and it runs smooth. It did not work like that before. It used
That
to be
just
like,
makes
play the-
everything so much more exciting for what's coming for Undead Labs in the future with now knowing how, you know what I'm saying, by having the funding and everything else. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be
because it
dope.
was like basically like 1440p or 1080p. Like whenever it was 4K, it was just that shit was just like sluggish. I was like, man, this is some bullshit.
All right.
But now, man, I got this shit all the way up. I love it. And then on the Xbox, it looked clean too. I'm like, it damn near looks the same, bro.
Yeah,
It damn near looks the
Well, I
same
gotta-
as on Xbox as it does on PC. That shit's crazy, bro.
Okay, cool. So Livewire is bigging up State of Decay 2's Juggernaut Edition. I have to
Yeah, they
say
did a
on the
damn good
Xbox,
job.
I can't wait to see what it's like on the PC as well. So thank you, Henosis. He said, great show. Thank you so much for sticking around, man. I definitely appreciate that. Dragonheart Yobi, that's what I'm talking about. Now, I got to say this before I go to Lemon so he can hear all of this, right? So, Dragonheart Yobi, you know what I'm saying? He says, just got off work. What up, greatness, a.k.a. Legendary Mega, a.k.a. the one with all the AKAs, the AK, the Don Pappy, a.k.a. the chosen one. K Mega! Let's go. I love it. Now, we're going to go to your bum ass 108 Dragons TV. Where can they find you at?
You can find me at I'm not on that salary and getting paid for that nonsense. Your name is Dragon Heart Yobi. It better be some 108 somewhere in there.
Nothing.
The hell
sucker.
kind of homage was that?
Oh, that's a great homage. I love
What
it.
the hell?
Yobi's fantastic.
Yeah, he is. Yo, first of all, I put that picture up of that spawn from that that in that chair that I was talking about. That's in Mortal Kombat. It gave me goosebumps.
Yeah. I retweeted.
And yeah, you can find me at 108 Dragons TV and on every social media. It's all spelled the same. I like to thank everybody from the GRG to the 108s to everybody on social media with the birthday onslaughts, man. This has been, I think, my biggest year on all my social media platforms. That everybody wishing me happy birthday. I got some more flicks for your asses. We're gonna be partying hard this weekend, and yeah, man. Thanks for coming out and supporting GRG, man. We work as a unit. We work for one goal, is to bring good content to everyone, and thank you. Appreciate all y'all out there, man.
Yes, no doubt about it. And get ready for this. We are working on our GRG gear. And so we're going through the motions, looking at all that. And so get ready for that. So please, people that's
Yeah,
interested,
GRG, get ready, gamers.
get ready, gamers. We got gear coming. So I hope you guys will definitely support us and get some of that GRG gear. Me and Don is working on some other stuff as well, which is more of the funny stuff. You know what I'm saying? King of the Dolphin, King of the A button, Devin the Gamer shit. You know what I'm saying? We'll figure something 108. We'll probably call him Puff the Magic Dragon or something. But other than that,
Oh,
but we working to make.
Thank you, Dragonheart. Thank you, appreciate that.
But
Thank you.
we're definitely working to make this bigger and better, and hopefully that you guys will stick with us all the way through. So definitely. So without further ado, I'm out of here, and you know what I always say: if your ass ain't have to go to work tomorrow. If you do got to go to work tomorrow, then you better have your ass in bed. If you don't have to go to work tomorrow, then you need to be gaming. And if you are not doing either one, there is only one other thing, especially if you ain't got no toilet paper to buy. There's only one more thing that you can be doing at this time of hour. And that is what, gentlemen?
The Pants Off Dance Off.
Woo! You better be knocking them things out the park, baby. Because y'all ain't got no sports to watch. Y'all ain't got nothing. And if y'all ain't gaming, then man, what the hell's what's popping? You got to be making some babies. Anyway, we out of here, baby.
Cable.
They're about to cancel it all, sucker. You better start making a harem.
They went way back in the DVR.
We out. Thank you guys.
TV
Good night.
now.
Peace.
Hey, thanks for checking out the GRG podcast. All your gaming news and our special topic of the week. Make sure to join us every Friday night, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, and 6:30 Pacific. This was the GRG podcast.